stepped in a function. My had racks in abundance. Cause I remember days in the bunk beds, back when I only dreamed of the hundreds. Then it was counting thousands on the mountains. Look where we come from. That's why we sit round, have fun. So big man, sit down, have some. Oh yeah. You haven't lived life, don't worry about it. Oh yeah. Open your eyes, I can tell you about it. Oh yeah. Cause we got the strength, yeah, we haven't said. Oh yeah. And we got the time we can spend, yeah. Celebrate, live up your life, yeah. Live up your life, yeah. Live up your life, yeah. Celebrate, live up your life, yeah. Live up your life, yeah. Live up your life, yeah. Aiming for the top, yeah. You gotta aim and take a shot, yeah. Celebrate and live up your life, yeah. Live up your life, yeah. Live up your life, yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Wild Rift Icons 2022. We've got our final matchup of the day, and the most important matchup. I know all of you back home are awake for it. In the West, it's our last match. Liberty versus one half of the North American representation at Icons, Sentinels, the second place in WNS. Y'all, there's the roster of the team that's going to win. What do you all expect is going to happen right here, Amo?
Well, frankly, I came in a bit suspect about Sentinels without their jungler, but I was talking to TJ, I was talking to you guys, you know, big WNS fans, and you guys were telling me, TJ especially told me the Tibet will fit right into the Sentinels team fighting machine. His exact words there. So that's what I'm looking forward to, and let's see if that plays out for them.
That's right. Tybe, a huge part of the success for No More Ego. That was part of the roster that was there. And then big on objective steals. Tybe, no for that.
Yeah, I think Tybe's going to be a really important player, but another really important player is going to be Mali in that mid lane. I think Mali has been a standout player for Sentinels, and Sheesh was as well, but unfortunately, you know, Sheesh is not here, and Tybe will be joining in instead. But Mali in this mid lane, you know, very flexible player, very patient player as well. He not only likes to focus on the assassins, but he's played champions like Orianna. He's looked really strong, and as you can see in plays like here on your screen now, you know, very patient, just knowing when to go in, and just read things. Sometimes you feel like he's like cheating or something because he knows where people are at the exact right time, but that's just the game knowledge that Mali has, and it's going to be really exciting to see him in this game.
Yeah, one of the biggest things that Sentinels has had is when their the Icon's life was on the line, it was a best of 5. Whoever wins this one goes to the international event. It was them and Tribe, last year's representative over at Horizon Cup. They got pushed to the absolute brink and found success. We've talked about resiliency, being able to bounce back, resetting mental, just like we saw from Fury's game when they took the lead, they're getting bodied early, Baron's in, they reset their mental. This squad knows what that's about, and I think a lot of that has to do with the man in the top lane, MTS, better known as Matthew Taylor Stover, and all the acronyms correct in his name. He played in another in China for some of those teams, so he knows what it's like in the eastern side in MOBAs and how big it can be here.
I feel like I've heard these exact words come out of TJ's mouth before. I feel like I've heard this entire spiel before.
It's not just a spiel, it's reality. But their opponent is a team that would take the fight anywhere. Let's talk about Liberty from the Wild Tour Brazil, y'all.
Well, I mean, looking at this roster, we have a lot of good team fighting power coming in from the Liberty squad, and that's what I want to look out for going up against Sentinel here today as well. I expect to see a lot of big 5v5 team fights, and I want to see ManoFreeJ leading the charge for them.
Yeah, for Liberty, you know, you have to look at the support as well. ManoFreezer on the support role, you know, playing these aggressive junglers, aggressive support, sorry, you know, the likes of Leona, the likes of Sett as well, and when he's engaging, he just engages, and this team is probably the craziest team that we have in this entire tournament. Their aggression, their team fights, if they see one little pixel of a champion, they will just go in, and it doesn't matter if it looks really bad, they will just keep going in and fighting and fighting.
I love it. Gameplay aside, I can tell you he does one mean esports post.
Yeah, they were chanting a ton in the backstage were the Brazilian outfit. All right, What's the prediction? Please tell me that some of you guys got this one right and were with me here, me and Kangas. No way, boys! What are you doing?
After last game.
Someone else has to be sad on this analyst desk. I can't be the only one that's sad.
Oh, no. You know what you did? You just saddled your bags with the sad guy.
You're right. Oh,
That's
no.
what you just did.
Okay,
You're homo.
no matter what happens, I cannot be sad. WCS is 6-0 right now. How can I be sad? Nothing can bring me down at this point.
You know what? Let's close out day number 2 with the banger. Let's close it off with Kangas and Hell's Devils. This final matchup.
I'm with y'all as well. I'm going for Sentinels too. You know, I want these guys to win. Come on, Western teams. You guys got to do it as well.
I believe Hells. I believe that we can do it. But I also am crossing my fingers because I remember Horizon Cup. And I remember North America.
Horizon Cup doesn't exist
being
anymore.
in a group with a Brazilian team.
This is the Icon series, okay? These are Icon series. These are going to be different. Sentinels, they can do it. If there's one team from NA that can do it, it's Sentinels.
Degon, I have faith with you. Hells has faith with you. But it's up to Sentinels to prove that they can do it because we do not have the best track record against Brazilian teams. And you know Brazil will be hungry to pick up a win here. But I gotta say it, I know I've been memeing you 0-4 right now in play-ins, but NA has yet to win an international series. This would be their first ever international series win if they pick up this best of 3. This would be historic for North America as a region. Sentinels, I believe.
Their name would be set in stone, right? Like Sentinels, these are the guys that won very, very first. And, you know, their roster changed because unfortunately some players weren't able to travel, but they got some banger players. They got Type and they got Max Green.
And Max Green, a player that won the Horizon Cup, so he's going to be hungry to get revenge against the Brazilian players here and pick up a win. MTS, the weak side, Baron King, best Baron laner in all of North America. Molly, a prodigy as well, but the thing about Liberty is that they will fight and they will make you work for it and cannot disrespect them.
So, Kangas, we're immediately going to talk about one champion right here in the jungle that Sentinels has to ban out. You can guess who it is?
Interestingly enough, they went with the Olaf, but it's actually Kinzen's most played champions being Wukong and Xin Zhao. I don't know which one you're going for there. Of the Munchman.
Why do you think it's Wukong? Why do you think Wukong is his most played champion? Every single one banned away his Xin Zhao. So are they going to ban it? Is Sentinels going to be banning out the Xin Zhao? Or are they really going to be leaving out the best champion that Kinzen could possibly be playing?
Well, that's the thing. Best thing that they were playing last time we saw them. New patch, new meta. Maybe Liberty lean away from the Xin Zhao now because we haven't seen any of the stream results so far. But we'll get some insight. They're going with the Wukong ban. Again, I think Wukong's a little bit better in the current patch and the current meta. This is actually what I wanted Sentinels to do. Interesting that they're banning away the Shen. The Garen makes a lot of sense. MT plays almost exclusively Garen. If not Garen, then he'll go towards the Darius. But Sentinels have not been playing the Shen. They only had one Shen game in the WNS finals, and it was a loss.
And there was a Lucian first pick as well. And again, like this, 100% pick or ban, but not 100% win rate. And in contrary to that, I believe the win rate is closer to like, what, 20, 30%?
I don't remember the exact percent. I know that about halfway through, at the halfway point yesterday, it was 0-4. We'll have to get the stats to actually check what the current win rate of Lucian is right now. But we're seeing it is blue 1 pick priority right now, and Sentinels locking in for Rest, who is not a traditional marksman player. Rest plays a lot of the AP carries. So it also makes me think maybe this will go to the mid lane instead.
Oh, there's Type, famous Camille. And we gotta talk about this, because Type is famous for 2 champions, I believe. It's the Camille, and it is the Wukong. So it's interesting to see that he picked Camille. And the reason I'm saying interesting is because Camille got a massive nerf. And there is the Ziggs that you talked about, Kangas.
I will say, and it's also gotta mean Camille. It can't be flex. We don't know yet. But let's talk about Liberty here, because they have a lot of range to work with. Jace and Corki locked in as their first 2 picks. They could go for the Xin Zhao.
Because here it's perfect.
They
like,
do it.
It's the easiest prediction ever. And let me tell you why. Because it's a really, really bold move of Sentinels to pick the Camille against the Xin Zhao. And I'm gonna ask chat to guess why. Tell me right now why. Why is it a stupid idea to be picking Camille into the Xin Zhao? I'm gonna give you guys some time to answer that one, and I'll answer it in like half a minute.
If you lock the jungler in your circle, then you're supposed to win the fight, right?
I'm gonna talk about it later. I'm gonna give
we'll meet up later. We'll see if they have the big brain they're trying to play. Now, Yuumi was not banned, and not locked
And
in.
not picked.
Interestingly enough, Senna as well made it through the first round of bans. Liberty could maybe pivot towards the Senna composition. I won't necessarily love it, though. They already have the scaling of Corki, so maybe that's not necessary for Sentinels to ban out here. But we are starting to see the identity come through. When we look at Sentinels, I'm going to right now, I actually think it would be Molly on the Lucian and then rest on the Ziggs. It matches both of their playstyles much better.
So let me give you the answer right now.
Okay.
When Camille uses her Hextech ultimatum, what is Xin Zhao gonna do? He's gonna ult right away. Camille's ultimate is gonna be useless. It is a very bold move for them to pick Camille up against Kinz, who is known for his Xin Zhao. And he's gonna do what he has to do on Zhao. Like, if there's one guy gonna be canceling out Camille's ultimate, it's gonna be him.
And looking at the rest of Liberty's bans right now, the Galio makes a lot of sense to me. It's beginning post-play champion when he's looking for engages, when he wants to be the one to start the fight. And more often than not, Sentinels needs beginnings to start those fights. If he can't, it's really rough.
Another champion we talk about is the set. We know that both these teams love the set. So Liberty actually decides to pick out the Thresh. And the reason that I'm saying Thresh is because set on the support, not in the Baron lane. We've seen both these teams play set on the support, and Max Green especially. Actually, he's not playing.
Yeah, no, beginning.
I didn't realize that. It's beginning
the Immortals support versus the Sentinel support. We have two representatives from North America here.
There it is. Yeah,
it's revenge.
Yeah. I made a mistake. Sorry there. But it's beginnings playing the support, and set support is a very, very strong pick regardless. So it's interesting to see what they actually choose to pick, as Sentinels has their very last support.
Kha'Zix locked in, so it will be the Camille
Rakan
going into that Baron lane. Kha'Zix in the jungle, and Rakan for beginnings here, who still, if he doesn't get that Galio, he will go towards the Rakan as that secondary engage option. Sentinels need him to start these fights.
Yeah,
and now Liberty, they already have the Thresh, which in my opinion is kind of the counter to the Rakan, so I don't know if I necessarily love it, but it does fit what Sentinels usually need for their win condition.
And the Riven, I don't really like the Riven here, because Sentinels has so many tools to cancel out that Riven. If Riven goes in on her own, Kha'Zix is gonna destroy her. Riven cannot chase a Lucian. Camille can Hextech ultimatum Riven. Sure, Riven is good into Ziggs, but even a Ziggs can use his second ability to run away. Like, I don't feel this is the right draft for Riven to be played by Liberty, but let's see if they can prove us wrong.
They have a lot of forward momentum between the Riven and the Xin Zhao. The package from Corki can also provide range with that Jace combo. So Liberty, there's a lot of different things that this composition can look to do, but one thing that they will struggle with is hard engage. Riven will kind of function as that. Xin Zhao may be looking for those skirmishes as well. And Type on the Kha'Zix is kind of scary. Like, he is known for being this jungler that will steal objectives away, and Kha'Zix is one of those junglers that are good for it. So I actually am liking what Sentinels have drafted for themselves in game number 1. But again, Liberty, they drafted to their strengths. Skirmishing, team fighting, and again, you cannot disrespect them.
You cannot disrespect him. You cannot disrespect the Xin Zhao. You can, like, you think Sentinels did a good job. I would say the opposite, because giving away that Xin Zhao like that, I think that's going to be their demise.
Well, we'll see. Sentinels, they want a win. They want to represent North America on the international stage with the first ever series win for the region against the region that knocked them into 5th place at Horizon Cup. Sentinels versus Liberty. Game 1 is underway.
Let's go. This is going to be a very, very hyped game. I'm sure all of North America is sitting on the edge of their seats like, come on, Sentinels. Please do it for us. Just one series, so we can at least say we've won an international series.
And they should be awake right now, too, because it's actually not too late at night, or rather early in the morning for North America right now. So Sentinels, the fans are watching, but you know the same is true for Brazil, and their fans are fierce here. As mid lane already, Kono playing Jace in the mid lane, getting the good trade on the Molly. It's Ignite down.
Oh, that was close, gangers. That was close. If Molly was able to get level 2 right there, he would have killed Kona. But Kona knew that was not happening. He went all in on him, but unfortunately it didn't go too well. He did burn Molly's flash.
True.
Which is still a win for Kona.
And he has his own flash, so he's feeling pretty good about that trade. Molly not necessarily getting the easy laning phase. He's known to be focused down in the mid lane here from Sentinels, because he's oftentimes their early game condition. Sentinels as a team, when we look at how they win games, it's oftentimes not the most active early game from them. Instead, try and just survive, look for maybe a couple plays that beginnings can find a home, but otherwise get these objectives rather than trying to force these crazy early game plays.
And I love these little mechanical plays Freaks is doing right now. MTS has able to hit a single ability of Camille right. Freeze dodged every single one of those, so he's already showing like mechanical prowess in his lane.
And Freezer also earlier to the roam here than beginning. Tybe also trying to force this mid lane.
Where are they going? Where's Liberty going right now? Are they all going to be ganking MTS right here?
They might go for the dive.
Oh.
In the sweep.
Oh, they're going for it.
Kona
Oh, they're going for it.
Freezer are here, but MTS can hookshot away to safety. All right, the gank is red, and Sentinels they defend.
Yeah, defend. Very, very well played by Sentinels right there. They didn't lose any minions either. Liberty just wasted a lot of time right there. I like that they tried it, but Sentinels knew what was going on. They had the vision. They had Mali on that Lucian following up. That's very, very well played by Sentinels there. As you can see, 600 gold at Rushing Waves under. They're doing a great job macro-wise right now.
I would say they did send a lot of members up to hover there when MTS was already out in red. Okay, I'm safe. I'll actually get back to the lane, just find it. That did predict from ManaFreezer was beautiful right there. Molly's gonna try and get back through the Thresh. Good on beginning, Sabati blocked up. ManaFreezer with a flash auto picks up first blood.
What a guy, ManaFreezer. He just indeed predicted the Lucian, and just because of that one hook, he was able to pick that first blood, and he absolutely deserved that, Kangas.
That was beautiful. Sometimes you just tap the ability, and it's gonna throw wherever they are. That was clearly a tap and drag,
and
knowing that the relentless pursuit would
oh
right
my
there.
God, I mean, look at that. I could look at that all day. Like, that was so beautiful. You can see like how close the fight was. If ManaFreezer did not hit it, he wouldn't have gotten it.
And then Kona also knocked back Beginnings, so Beginnings doesn't get the grand entrance knockup. So it's the mechanical play from both Kona and ManaFreezer. And look at ManaFreezer. Thresh is back into the mid lane.
Mechanics all over Liberty right now. Like, Liberty is just showing the mechanics. Oh, look at ManaFreezer. He's going everywhere. He's going for a gank and making sure Kona can follow up as well. They're going to go from behind.
This time. There's no backup this time from MTS. He's going to have to hookshot.
Yes, a hookshot.
And another death sentence means just that for MTS. Liberty will take a turret.
Another hookshot. This guy doesn't miss. ManaFreezer, what are you doing? Give Sentinels a chance to do something. Miss some hookshots. How does he do it?
Oh, Sentinels are looking to defend. It's pre 4 minutes. The plating is strong for Sentinels' top turret, so they hold on even to the second plate right there. But ManaFreezer is making it work for Liberty right now, 2-0.
And interestingly, we see Mali and Kona built the whole breaker.
This is like, what, 3 in a row right now? We got to keep track of this.
Yeah, definitely. Both of them have gotten the whole breaker, which seems, you know, they're going to be canceling out each other. They're going to be pushing those side lanes. And, man, ManaFreezer, this is a name that no one is going to forget anymore.
This is going to be burned in my memory.
Yeah.
I'm sure most North American fans are starting to quake in their boots right now looking at this Thresh. Anywhere he goes, another one!
You gotta stop! He doesn't miss. I mean, whenever you see him pull his hand back, you know it's time. You know it's time. He's gotta be hitting that hook. This is crazy. He's 3-0, Kangas. He got every single kill.
ManaFreezer is 1v5ing Sentinels right now.
Oh my God, this is just disgusting. Like, 3-0. I'm sorry, I'm just sticking to this guy, but this is crazy. Like, what else is he gonna do throughout this later game? Oh, Tybe is trying.
He's probably gonna land another hook on a Tybe right now.
Tybe is running away. He doesn't want to get close to ManaFreezer right now.
Beginnings is nearby, but Liberty have more members here, so they're looking to pressure this Herald. Molly is getting some damage onto this turret. That's the package used, though. The 1v1's going in the favor of Boss, but Molly's trying to turn it back around with the Colleen. Boss in trouble. Flash from Molly with the outplay.
And that's the power of the Hull Breaker. That is the power of the Hull Breaker that we were talking about. You mentioned it. When Lucian goes to a side with that Hull Breaker, he gets that magic resist. That makes him super powerful in the 1v1. And even though Boss used this package, he wasn't able to kill Molly right there.
And that was also through Exhaust. He ignited to... Liberty will get the Herald. Sentinels trade for the Dragon, but Liberty trade ahead with a turret take, meaning that they are now 1,500 gold in the lead.
And Sentinels is trying to get that bot lane turret, so if they can, it would be really good. Unfortunately, not quite able to get that bot lane turret.
And now Kona's in trouble. Look at this, Beginnings is nearby.
He has a Hull Breaker though.
He does have a Hull Breaker. Grand entrance used, the knockup lands, but Kona is safe.
Yeah, Kona is safe, and that's the thing with Hull Breaker. You just can't gank a person easily if he has a Hull Breaker. And now
we build it.
Now we're starting to understand those mid laners that are building Hull Breaker, right? Like we constantly talk about, you're mid lane. Why would you go for Hull Breaker? Here you can see it. They swap it to side lanes, and yet again, Kona is just not gonna die.
Yeah,
Oh, Mano Freezer is coming again.
Oh,
He's
okay.
coming again.
Get out of here. Get out of here, Beginnings. Run while you can.
Oh.
And there's the battle dance. He does survive.
It's crazy that we're like, he's coming. He's got a hook down. Like, that's how scary, guys. Like, when
We
you
need a
see...
heart rate monitor on me, because anytime I see that thresh on my screen, it's spiking.
Right, whenever you see him come to your lane, you're just gonna run away. You don't even want to dare to dodge that hook shot.
Sentinel's taking some damage over the wall there from Kona. As Liberty now putting their attention into the mid lane. They drop the Herald. They've already cracked
That's not
that
gonna get
top
the turret.
I
That's
think
not gonna get the turret, no.
Sentinels, can they kill it fast enough?
Yeah,
It
definitely.
gets
But
a charge.
it seems like Liberty gets the bot lane instead, which is also fine, right? It's
All
not
five
quite a mid lane.
members.
And
Oh, okay, another one, but the culling from Molly just shades any advance. Liberty back off.
he hits it, but doesn't go in because a beautiful Ziggs ultimate comes from Rest right there, not allowing Liberty to fully engage, because if they would go in, they would have just lost that. And this, it's an S3 for Corki. We've seen
Hey.
everything already, haven't we?
And okay, so again, the reason why I like Hullbreaker Corki, if you go into the Black Cleaver, is that Nova showed us how to do it. If you're against Assassins, it keeps you alive. There's only the Kha'Zix this time around. Maybe the Camille to make an argument for, but it is Corki's job to side lane. You have the Ren, you got the Lush, or the Jace rather, with that Hullbreaker already. So do damage. I think this is the correct choice.
And Mano Freezer, this is the guy that I want to see with the Istari Siege. We've seen him make these flashy plays with his lanterns. This is the guy that I want to see use the Blast Comb to get his team over a wall, to set up anyone for a pet. This is the guy.
If he pulls off an RNG drop blast cone into hit the blast cone, throw hook in the air, I'm done. I'm walking off.
Both just done that. I mean, this is already an amazing performance from him right now. You know, it's 3-on-1, and Istari Siege is one of those items that can make the flashiest plays from any other item in this game.
They're still up in gold.
Ooh.
Only just.
They're looking for Rest.
Liberty doing what they can here to make pressure around the map. This is how they move. This is the third time now that they've pushed mid, grouped, and then looked at bot lane. This time they're spotted on that ward in Tribush.
Oh man, this is a tense game. Liberty is looking for some blood. Like, they're smelling blood in the jungle from Sentinels. They're constantly roaming around. Are we ganking mid lane? No, let's go to bot lane, you know, or let's go to back lane. Ganking every single lane right now.
Ooh, big engage there from Sentinels, but all of Liberty are nearby. Now Molly jumps in. He doesn't have the Hullbreaker stacked right now because there's too many members around, but he's looking at Kona. He gets aggressive. Molly with the signature moves right now. Beginnings almost knocks up Kona, or Kinzen rather, who gets away.
That was quite an underwhelming Ziggs
kills.
ultimate. I kind of expected that Ziggs ultimate to do a little bit more damage.
Little Freaks looks for a 1v1. He reckons that he can win this. Onto MTS right now, and he is out damaging the Camille.
Ooh, damn, that was a lot of damage coming from Freaks right there on that Riven. He dominated MTS in that 1v1 right there.
Impressive stuff right now from the Baron laner of Liberty.
Ooh, that turret.
Kona, yeah, Jace takes these.
Takes these very fast. It seems
Oh,
like he's not
does.
quite going for it. So it's Mali and Kona sitting on a bot lane. We expect this, right? Like, these are the two Hullbreaker guys. Are they gonna go for a 1v1 though? That would be kind of funny.
Hey, Coley, that's doing some damage.
Every single right there, just telling him, get the hell out of my lane. And meanwhile, I believe Liberty was able to get that Rift Herald as well.
Yeah, they did pick it up, and it's staggered timing with the dragon spawn, so Sentinels can't immediately answer. They should push for this turret, and Liberty back up. You gotta be very careful. The death sentence over the wall. He gets the buff, but can he get out right now? Right into waiting arms. Boss almost goes down to the Mega Inferno bomb. Does survive.
Fourth hook from Mano Freezer. Fourth kill for Liberty. That is the name.
Okay, that's one miss. Oh! He says I missed the hook. Proto Bell go for the flay.
He's missed a few hooks, but if this guy hits a hook, like 3 kills, 1 assist, and 4 kills for Liberty. Every single kill has been set up
Every
by Mano
kill's been a
Freezer
hook.
up until now. Like, this truly shows how a support can dictate the game. Like, I hear it a lot, right? Like, support is a useless role. Support cannot do this. I mean, look at this game. And look at this game and tell it to my face that support is a useless role. Obviously, it is not. If there is one guy that has done the very most from Liberty, it is Mano Freezer on that support right now.
And he knew Beginnings was in the rush.
They're
They're
close
not
to
quite
each other.
ready for it. Beginnings goes for the engage on the boss. Kona's nearby. Chunks out Beginnings right now. The dragon is what we're fighting for currently. There's no follow-up on that one. But that's what they're looking for. Liberty are trying to find a pick so that they can then convert that into the dragon.
So both teams seem to be very interested in this dragon right now, and both teams have Hullbreakers. I would have loved to see at least one team have a player with a Hullbreaker sitting on the Baron lane, just pushing. But let's see how this goes. This is going to be a 5 -5.
Freaks does have a flank angle right now. Watch for the Riven here. But Sentinels, they just straight in. They try and lock down Kona. Now comes Freaks, finally joining into the fight. Kona's still alive. Liberty have low health bars. Sentinels have positioned pretty well. Now the Death Sentence on a Molly, but there's no follow-up. No one dies from a very scrappy fight.
And the reason that no one died is yet again Mano Freezer. This time with his lantern, he was able to pull out whoever needed to be pulled out of that fight, and he got it again.
Molly Death Sentence from the wall! Mano Freezer punishing every single move, gets another one, sniping 2 in a row. Sentinels are just getting punished right now.
Genghis, we need to do a challenge. Let's not say Mano Freezer for a minute, okay?
It's impossible.
Let's not.
It's one of those impossible challenges. Time goes in, thinks he can 1v3, doesn't get a kill, but does do some damage. Flash out of Freezer. See? Can't go a minute.
You can't kill Mano Freezer.
Time, you gotta run. MTS, you can't take this. Kona can just poke you down.
And Kona has that wall breaker as well. Even though it's a 1v3, the reason that Sentinels is afraid right now is they can't deal with that whole breaker chase right there. They were very low, so they couldn't rush down the dragon. But man, Mano Freezer, he did everything perfectly. He had 2 hooks, and he flashed out of that Ziggs ultimate, which didn't allow them to kill him. So here you can see the replay, right? Like, Mano Freezer sitting on the top right there. And over the wall, boom! There it is. And right after that, he did it again. And meanwhile, we see Liberty doing the dragon as well. Yeah. There it is. He did it again.
Okay, we got another fight right now, though. Sentinels are approaching. Liberty are on it. Time looking for the steal. He doesn't get it. Liberty secure the objective. Can they get out now, though? Sentinels posturing forward. They're on to Freaks. Ooh. That's a big Mega Inferno bomb. Boss taken down as well. Time with the resets onto Kinzen underneath the turret. Stasis used. Beginnings will start taking that up. 2 kills over to the side of Sentinels.
And we're starting to see the power of the composition of Sentinels right there, right? Like, Rest on that Ziggs is dealing a lot of damage. Meanwhile, you know, they're taking away the entire jungle of Liberty right here. This is a massive win for Sentinels. They took a lot of kills. They took the objective. They took the jungle. They took everything.
They took a lot, but Liberty have pushing waves. So even though Sentinels, they got a couple kills, they got to take the time to reset these waves that are pushed in Liberty's favor. And I honestly still think Liberty feels pretty good about that one. They get the dragon, and they also still got a plate on that top turret. Now they can reset. They don't even grab the Corki package. They're going to save it.
Something that I want to put attention on is Ziggs' build right now. Rest actually chose to go for the Archangel Staff, which is in fact a late game item. He's gone through that early game stage. You know, they're quite even in gold. He has the Seraph's Embrace already. And as we look into this replay right here, Liberty was trying to get this dragon, and unfortunately Type, he's famous for stealing away dragons. He wasn't actually able to steal it against Kinzen. Very, very beautifully secured. But right here and there, Liberty already used all of their abilities, and they were trying to escape for Sentinels, but Sentinels didn't allow that.
And that was 2 missed hooks for Mano Freezer. He missed the initial one onto Beginnings before the dragon was taken. He misses the second one on cooldown there in the middle of the fight. We see how impactful this Thresh is. He does save the jungler, but if he's not hitting these hooks, it's looking rough. But there's the flay and the Death Sentence as well. Beginnings gets out, and he is safe. Oh, look at this, though. Over on the side, Boss into the stasis. Another Dark Passage. Molly says, no! Enough! We finally get somebody. Mano Freezer cannot save.
And that was a fight filled with plot twists right there, right? Like, Mano Freezer nearly saved Boss with his lantern, but then Mali was, I got you with my ultimate anyways, you know? But it's great to see that Sentinels is starting to understand the power of Mano Freezer. They're starting to understand, hey, he's gonna pull him in, I gotta use my ultimate to get that kill as fast as I can. But I was talking about Rest's build. I wanna continue talking about it real quick, because this build right here, if he finishes that Rabadon, he's gonna have close to like, what, 500, 600 AP with only 3 items. That's what happens if you get away with the Seraph's Embrace, Kangas.
It is gonna hurt. Kona misses the Empowered Shock Blast. MTS is fine right here. I was watching that see. Could Kona actually take the 1v1? Sentinels are also going for the double Hull Breaker right now. MTS has picked up his. Oh, he goes in on Kona, who immediately stasis to block the stun, but you can't Dark Passage through the Hextech Ultimatum. Mano Freezer actually goes in, though. He still thinks that he can save Kona. Sentinels, they're spending so much time. They're so far forward. They only just kill him, and time goes down. MTS will follow. Can the rest of Sentinels turn this? Play the Dark Passage for Kinzen. He's out to safety. Liberty have done it again.
They've done it again. yet again, like, if we could count, how many kills has Mano Freezer saved from Liberty? I believe it's like 4, 5, 6 kills. This game should not have been a 5-8 in the favor of Liberty. This game should have been in favor of Sentinels.
I mean, could have been, should have been, doesn't matter. What is Liberty and their support popping off on the international stage. The 3rd seed from the WBR is bringing it to Sentinels. History might just repeat itself right here. North American fans better be sweating and hoping that Sentinels can turn this one around, because it's been swinging back and forth. The pendulum of momentum has not stayed still, but Liberty still currently hold the reins.
A cool synergy that Sentinels does have, however, is MTS. He actually went for the Hole Breaker, which means he's going to be very strong if he's alone. He can use his Hextech ultimatum on someone.
They're walking right in. Liberty set the trap, and Sentinels walk right into it. Time. Oh, he looks to reset, get on the boss, but does not survive that endeavor. 50-second death timer.
Ooh.
Baron's on the table.
50 seconds already. We're 17.5 minutes into the game, and that was not a good dive by Sentinels right there. They did not have vision. They should not have face-checked that push. Like, if you do that...
Oh, Mano Freezer, I like it. The flash hook doesn't land, but that confidence is what can get Liberty this win. And they still see Molly. They still see him.
So luckily for Sentinels, the Elder Dragon has not spawned yet, although it is the Baron still. And there is no way Sentinels can
Sentinels
stop
don't see this. Kinzen and Boss went from over the wall.
Yeah.
So yes, they have the scuttle, but Sentinels do not realize that this Baron's being taken. This is a sneak from Liberty, and it's successful. Even if Sentinels approach right now, it's gone.
How about an Elder Rush? How about an Elder Rush for Sentinels? Go Elder Dragon. Make type use teleport. He got teleport boots. Do it now, 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 now. This is the moment. They should have done it faster, but they can get the Elder Dragon and just win this game.
That's calling from Molly. Death Sentence lands on the beginnings. Sentinels, are they going to commit? Freaks is there. Stop him from getting in. Sentinels are on the Dragon. Freaks is in as well. It's secured from Sentinels, but can they get out of the pit? Low health bars. Liberty do not succeed in finding a kill. Sentinels have traded objective sneaks.
I'm so happy Sentinels saw that one. I am so happy they saw that one, because sure, Liberty got the Baron, but the timer was sticking for Sentinels' jungler type. He buys a teleport boots, Sentinel starts the Elder, and Kinzen cannot do anything. He's gonna be too late. They had to go back, because they were too low after that Baron, and what Liberty has to do right now, Kang, is they have to finish the game. If they don't, they're down an Elder Dragon against Sentinels.
They're up 4,000 gold, though, and that gold is spent. Can they push in and take down an inhibitor? Opening up a wave with super minions would feel great.
They can't, because Sentinels has a Ziggs. This is one champion that completely cancels out the Baron. Sure, they may be able to get, like, maybe one inhibitor, but that's not going to end the game for Sentinels.
They're pushing in another wave here with double cannons. Baron will take out the mid-tier turrets, but those inhibitors are holding on for Sentinels. If they can save those, wait out the Baron buff, they can look to try and equalize the map state after that.
Oh yeah, after that, Sentinels has a massive advantage, because let's not forget, Baron also gives stats. So even though Sentinels does have the Elder Dragon right now, it's actually Liberty that's currently stronger than Sentinels, because of course they got the Baron buff, but Baron also gives AD and AP, so it makes you stronger as well, for a limited time. Elder Dragon is not limited, Kangas.
Permanent.
Yep.
That will be on for the rest of the game, and importantly up for the next Baron fight. We're approaching max levels, we're approaching max builds for these champions. It's going the distance, Hells. Game 1 in, again, what's turning into an international rivalry. Yeah, the Rabadon's completed for rest. Oh, the Mega Inferno Bomb.
Close one.
If that was the middle of the circle, Kinzen might have died there.
He would have died right there, but there you can see, this is rest with 3 items, by the way. This is not 4, this is not 5 items, this is 3 items. And as you can see, right, like, he hasn't finished his items yet. Can you now imagine what would happen if Rest is able to finish off his items with that Elder Dragon? He's gonna one-shot anyone.
It's a scary proposition for Liberty, who are hoping to end this game soon. They have the Corki package up. Baron's coming up soon here. I'm surprised that they didn't actually grab it and look for a play before the Baron. Right now, they're getting control over the bottom half of the map. They have that one ward that spots MTS and Type. They know that they're alone. Then Flash Hook missing for Mana Freezer. That's twice in a row he's looked for the play. That would have been huge for Liberty if they found it.
And that is the one way that Liberty can win. They're not gonna win a team fight. Like, there is maybe like a 5% chance they win a team fight. The one way they can win, however, is if they catch out someone. And what is the perfect champion to do so? That's the Thresh.
They have double Guardian Angels, and Freaks is massively ahead of MTS right now. 3,000 gold lead for the Riven. Beginnings, oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no. Oh no. Beginnings, don't do it. Go away.
They
Just
know he's
run
there.
away.
They know he's there because the Blast Cone appeared. Okay. And now he's gone.
There is the Istali Sea chart. This is why you buy it, I guess, huh?
Yeah, so the enemy sees when you're in a brush. And then knows, wait a minute, that doesn't usually spawn there.
Yeah. So it seems like Sentinels is being very, you know, they're not taking fights right now. They're just farming up. They're building because they know if Rest can get some items, he's just gonna carry the game. Because Ziggs is one of the best champions to get the Elder Dragon out, because he's able to apply it on a lot of champions with his third ability, with his ultimate, and of course that big damage buff you get from it. This is huge for them, gang.
4 items on Rest. Can the Ziggs be the late game carry that Sentinels need? Ty very far forward. Liberty, this might be the play that they're looking for. They don't quite find it. Now Frake's taking a lot of damage. That Ziggs burst is insane. Kinzen goes down. Sentinels find 1 while the rest of the dominoes fall. Guardian Angel pop.
Oh no,
Freaks
he's gonna survive.
has the Dark Passage. He gets out. Freaks to safety. Liberty turn it. MTS goes down and Liberty make a trade happen.
Well, if regardless of Sentinels winning or losing, this Mana Freezer is gonna be in the nightmares. That was crazy. You saw how Freaks just went right through everyone. He survived, and then they were also able to get a kill.
His Hull Breaker was procced because they were all so far away. He had the resistances, so Sentinels couldn't burst him out of the GA.
I mean, let's take a look at this again. So, right here and there, Sentinels' fight started beautifully. Freaks went in just a little bit too far, took a lot of damage from the Ziggs. Kinzen unfortunately sacrificing himself, but it doesn't matter that much. Here you can see Freaks. He's dead, right? Like, this guy's gonna die. His Guardian Angel got procced. He's in the middle of 5 people. But Kangas, what happens?
Yep, if that Hull Breaker wasn't procced, he would have died right there. He definitely would not have survived with that sliver of a health bar.
Wow.
Insane plays from Mana Freezer.
Oh,
As you see Coach Pierce popping off there from Sentinels, maybe a little prematurely.
Yeah, and wow, man, Mana Freezer is not gonna get Thresh again. This is gonna be banned out by Sentinels next game. We can say that for sure.
Watch Mana Freezer, he's on point. He has the flash. Oh, barely misses on the Molly. And he flashed for that one. Now the Coliumver turned it back around. The Mega Inferno Bomb as well. This is bad for Liberty. They're taking a lot of damage as they're retreating from Sentinels jungle, and they're split. They don't have Kona. Sentinels see an opportunity. They pounce, they strike, and they are taking damage. Liberty try to turn it back around, but the front line for Sentinels, hold on. They're pushing through Liberty. They're taking the fight. Sentinels are making it happen.
That is game for Sentinels. They only need to be defending their base, but that is game. They don't even need the Baron. They're gonna be pushing.
Kona's going on to the Nexus. No way!
No, he's not gonna
Not a chance, Kona! You don't have the wave! Sentinel's back. Yeah, he can't do enough damage without the minion wave. That was so close from Kona.
That was kinda close, yeah.
So close. But Sentinels with a Prime Gaming ace will push onto the Nexus in a nail-biter game 1. 1-0 in the series for North America.
There we go, Sentinels. Finally one of the Western teams has won a game, and that was such a beautiful way to win the game. Just that one play at the Elder Dragon, the one beautiful, beautiful decision. They saw that they could do it. That's what won them the game right there.
What a crazy game to start off a best-of-3 between rival regions. I'm gonna call it right now. I know we've only had 1 international tournament so far in Wild Rift. This is the first inaugural Global Championships. But Brazil beat North America last time around. Sentinels have something to prove right here. And that was a nail-biter. I thought Liberty had it, but you're right. That Elder Rush from Sentinels kept them in the game.
Yeah, no, I saw that because, like, you know, that's a very hard decision to make, right? Like, because you're risking so much. You're literally going for the Elder Dragon, but it was the right decision. It's like a calculated risk, where it's not a risk anymore. If everyone is on the board, and it's exactly what Sentinels was doing. They were hesitating a little bit in the beginning, but then they instantly did it. And that one play right there got them the victory, got them the 1-0 lead, and now they just have to win one more game.
If they had hesitated and not gone for the Elder, that
would have
game
lost
was
the game.
over.
Yeah, that game
if
was over.
They had stayed too long at the Elder and not bursted fast enough, they would have gotten wiped, and that game was over. But we saw what happened right there. I can't wait to hear from Degon and the rest of the team. I don't even know what to say about this game anymore. Can you guys summarize it for us?
Yeah, I got you, brother. Hey, man, let's just go down. Like, man, Mano Freezer played so well for Liberty. Freaks played so well for Liberty. Those two guys did such a great job. Yeah, you know, like,
you know what you
Liberty
want to say.
played-
Get to
Liberty
it.
played really well. You know what? I'm hitting all the points of Liberty. Look how early game. It was all dictated by Mano Freezer just roaming around on the Thresh. I'm going to keep hitting on Liberty, you know, because that leaves two other guys here on the desk to talk about another team that was there. Right, Oma?
Who was the other team that was there?
I don't know, North America. I guess it was North America.
Boy, some Sentinels showing up big here. I think the mid to late game was honestly fantastic from them, but before we get into that,
Gosh,
you
Mano
guys are
Freezer.
saying,
Mano.
Mano Freezer, man. Even Degon was saying, right, bad trash for the next game. Please, this guy is cracked.
I think it was the player that I spoke about at the start of this series as well. You know, Mano Freezer.
We have a Degon cam now.
Oh my God, we have a Degon cam.
Every time he threw a hook, there was a big cackle on stage. Like, Brazil was having fun with it. They were toying with their food. And thank goodness, all three of those first kills that Liberty had all went to Mano Freezer. So it was going to the support role that wasn't necessarily giving the gold over to whoever it needed to be on Stuart.
Yeah, imagine if that went on, like, I don't know, mid laners, dual laners, anything like that, then that extra gold that you get from the kills maybe might have helped Liberty. But I think Liberty in general came into this game with a style that we know about them. You know, the aggressive plays, Mano Freezer roaming all the time. They were grouped together, they were roaming, they were trying to get them early game team fights, but they couldn't finish it out fast enough, and then Sentinels, they just scaled. NA scaling, as they say.
And honestly, a large part of that came down to the Elder Dragon as well, right? It came down to, you would call it a flip, but I wouldn't really, because Kinsin didn't buy a TP. The Baron sneak was so good from Liberty, but we were just screaming back there. Buy a TP.
Yeah.
You can get into the fight. Mano Freezer is in position. You can TP on top of his head. Indecisiveness, I'm not sure what it was, hesitation, that ended up costing Liberty.
Yeah, I think Kinsin was like halfway down, like it was like by his blue buff or something, or even before his blue buff, and then at that point, you have to think to yourself, you know, are they going to do the Elder? You're most likely going to think they're going to do the Elder because you just did Baron, and you don't see any vision of them at all. And then the TP doesn't come in, Kinsin's way too late, they secure the Elder, and at that point, Sentinels are just like, okay, we just need to stay calm. They have Baron. Liberty needed to end the game there, because if they don't end the game there, Sentinel just outscales.
That was the auto attack that that chased and followed the empowered auto attack from Ziggs. And then here was the sneaky Baron that you guys were talking about.
This was great.
Controlled here by Liberty, and you're thinking, wow, that's really smart of them. And then it's like, wait a second, we'll go ahead and trade for the Elder Dragon. But they knew the whole time because they had vision.
Sprinting right down. And the best part of this is you have empowered recalls with Baron. Mano Freezer is in position. You can't TP on top of him. He's literally running in to let you TP, but no TPs were bought. At least not from the jungler.
It got close. It got very close.
Yeah, it got close.
Honestly,
but not enough.
If he bought TP there, then I think it would have been a completely different
It really
story.
could have been.
It would have been a completely different. I think they started Baron, and he was actually still in base as well, so he still had the opportunity to sell his boots, buy TP, and teleport in. And it's them little decision-making moments. It's them little moments in Wild Rift where you have to make a decision. You have to make the right decision, because if you don't, that could be the end of the game for you.
Well, here's another little moment as Freaks gets away, has the whole Breaker resistances, and MTS goes face first into yet another hook by the Thresh being controlled by Mano Freezer. But then finally, they get collapsed upon on the top side of the map. Liberty opt into a 4-1 split, try to get the Jace to close the game on out. Not the case, and North America on the board here, 1-0 over Brazil as we take a look at this one more time. Again, that was shifty there at the Baron call, right? That's the Baron call where the gold shifts on over to Liberty. And then from there, it should have been easier for Sentinels, MTS, you know, Freaks making a good play, again, using the mechanics on the Riven. And
Ziggs.
Yeah, again, the Ziggs damage, true to his name. I liked what Hell's Devil said first. They Rest bought the Seraph's Embrace, allowed the scaling to happen first. Then, finally, they started opting into way more team fights once the Rabadon Death Cap was created.
good winners. I think Sentinels as a whole played pretty collected this game, but what I really liked about them is when it's time to go, they go. The killer instinct is there, the decisiveness is there, and I think that's very important for a team trying to make it out of play-ins.
Yeah.
Another player as well, you know, Mali as well. I think Mali had a good performance this game as well on that Lucian. You know, got the solo kill in the bot lane as well early on. He was in the side wave. He was by himself in the side wave. But this is a player, even though he hasn't played Lucian at all this year, you know, it's still a player that, you know, can pick up champions like that and you can really perform very well.
Well, the highlights are not quite done yet. There's one more highlight that I
Okay.
really want to take a look
Here
at.
we go.
If you've ever been curious what a regional caster is like watching their home team play, well...
Deep breaths.
Let's go! God.
Again, I'm trying to keep it in. I'm trying to keep it
You can
in.
see the sweat starting to pour.
Oh,
Stuart's
God.
trying to calm him down. Stuart's like, it's all right. They got this. They got this.
I was trying my best to calm him down, but to be fair, I was getting hyped as well, to be honest with
Yeah.
you.
And then I think
he
this
got
is-
hype as well, and then it was just like me. I was just like, oh my god, I'm getting hyped as well, you know?
Yeah, at least the tilts. Come on, we just gotta finish it up. It's almost there, and then it
So
wasn't
close.
done yet. All right, there we go. That's when we
That's
knew.
celebration.
I was like, Jason's gonna finish the game. Okay, Jason's not gonna finish the game. How much time's left on the death timers? Okay, the timers are good. Where's the wave? Okay, the wave's there. All right, we did it. We did it.
I was like, calm down, Degon. They got the win. It's okay. To be honest, when the camera panned and went on to Jace, I was very worried for a second. I actually thought that Unity were actually going to finish it, and then they cleared the minion waves. And then even after like Jace died, Degon's like, can they win? Can they win? Can they win? I'm just like,
We're like, you
chill,
got this, you
chill.
got this.
Yeah, he's like, you got the win. It's fine. But it's not the series yet. Still got one more game to go, potentially two.
Definitely not the series yet.
Way to take the win out of his hill.
It's not,
It's
the
not
series
over
yet.
yet.
It's okay. It's one step in front of the other. But you gotta take that first step. Great job here by Sentinels, making it to the international stage again. And this is a squad that was built for that. Last year, they fell down, fell short. That was the representative that went through as a cup, and then they built themselves back on up to one of the best teams in North America. And so now they're looking to go ahead and fulfill that by taking the victory here against Brazil. All right, one game in the bucket. Will it just be two, or will this series go all the way to three? We know how I feel. Let's send it over to Kangas. The hell's able to find out. Oh, we're listening to sound real quick. If you ever want to hear what it's like calling the local squad, let's take a listen to Kangas and Hell's Devil.
Sentinels, are they
Too
going to
late.
commit?
They're
Freaks
too
is
late.
there. Stop him from getting in. Sentinels are on the dragon. Freaks is in as well. It's secured from Sentinels. But can they get out of the pit? Low health bars. Liberty do not succeed in finding a kill. Sentinels have traded objective sneaks.
I'm so happy Sentinels saw that one. I am so happy they saw that one because sure Liberty got...
How happy were you, Hells? I don't know how happy you were.
This is NA now. Jump ship.
He's ditched me. He's completely ditched me. He said 0% chance for Game Lord. Now he's cheering for NA. What's going on, Hells?
What can
Come
he say?
on, bro.
We're an appealing region. The best part is this thing keeps sliding down. I'm jumping, so then I have to hit the cough button and slide it back up. Because otherwise you don't hear me correctly. So if anybody was wondering what that was, maybe I need to bounce less in fights.
Yeah, we were maybe a little too excited during that game, but I feel it was for a good reason. Because not only from Sentinels, also Mano Freezer on their Thresh.
Mano Freezer's Thresh was terrifying. And a big part of why Sentinels were able to bring it back is if you take the first half of that game and you look at the percentage of hooks hit, it was like 75% or more. It was actually insane. But then you just look at the second half of the game, and he was actually missing quite a few in those fights. It became more difficult when he wasn't in a brush looking at the mid lane, in a brush looking at the bot lane. Instead, in the later stages of the game, it was beginning saying, I'm Rakan, I'm going to go in. You're trying to hit a moving target. You're trying to hit people in a team fight while they're using their abilities to get around, and that's where the Thresh was struggling.
And Liberty was fully reliant on the Thresh as well. Like, that is the problem that they had, right? Like, especially after that Elder Dragon right there, the only way Liberty could have won was following up on a hook from Mano Freezer. But unfortunately, like, he even used some flash hooks, which he missed, so he didn't even have his flash anymore during those fights. So, like, when that happens, there's really just no more way of Liberty to win that against Sentinels' composition.
Okay, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, though, Hells, because we do need to remind the audience. I'm sure Degon remembers. Horizon Cup, it was a 2-1 series against Brazil that we lost. We did pick up that game 1, and then we lost the next 2. So Sentinels, they need to keep their heads in the game because we saw how close that one was. Liberty are such a scary team. Like, they were finding so many plays in the early stages of the game, and we were able to scale. We got to that late stage. But again, imagine so many of those tiny things go different around that Elder Dragon, and Liberty take that game. So, Liberty are still, I think, in a position where they're feeling comfortable. They can still look at that game and say, all right, there's things to learn, definitely, but we also know that we can match Sentinels in the mechanics in the early game.
Oh yeah, and I would even say they were better in the mechanics. We saw it, right? Like where Freaks was able to dodge out all of the Camus abilities in the early game with that Riven. We saw like the Lucian dodge out, or sorry, not the Lucian, the Thresh hitting all the hooks on Lucian. That's what I wanted to say. Like, we saw them make those mechanical plays. So the mechanics, I would even say, like, Liberty was much better than Sentinels right there. It was just those calls. Like, Sentinels made the right calls. And you can see, right, like, the macro game is actually more important than the mechanics.
And the fact that Sentinels also had rest, like you had identified on this really late game scaling build. Had the Seraphs fully stacked. Rabadon's third item with the Ludens was doing massive damage. And we saw the damage charts was like almost double of Liberty's most damaging champion. So if the game doesn't go that late, if Liberty can keep their aggression early, they still have a really good shot in this series. But we have the same sides. Sentinels still on blue, Liberty still on red. And now is the time where we see, do we adapt in the pick and ban?
Right, the question arises, what do you ban? Right? Like, are you going to be banning Thresh as Sentinels? Are you going to be banning Ziggs
I
as
ban
Liberty?
yes, yeah. If you're asking a question, I know I sounded like rhetorical, but I gotta say yes. Please ban Thresh Sentinels or pick it. Beginnings plays it as well.
Like, I think it would be too cocky from Sentinels to leave it open. There's absolutely no way, right? Like, I think that would be a massive mistake. I mean, sure, look.
There we go. All right.
Yeah,
They do it.
Okay. We can calm down. We don't have to make some crazy thoughts about why they would leave it open. What I was gonna say is, like, you can pick Ashe into it. Ashe can sort out a Thresh pretty well, but I think Rest wants to be playing those APCs, right? They ban the Ziggs away as well. However, Orianna's still open. Morgana's still open. Brand is still open. Like, you haven't banned out Rest's champion pool like this, right?
And like you had identified, he also still can play things like the Ashe.
Yeah.
We know that Rest is traditionally more of an AP carry, but he's been practicing the AD carries. And on this meta, you almost need to be able to play them in order to win. So they go for the Lucian. It's up. It's flexible. Molly had a really good Lucian game in game number 1, but Karma is also up. And no, this is not the first Karma game. She has been played already earlier today, but we have not seen a lot of her because of how strong she is.
Lucian over Karma? Is Lucian really that strong?
Sentinels are not a Karma team. Sentinels got baited into the Karma in the WNS Championships. And again, if Beginnings doesn't have engaged tools, Sentinels do not look like a team that is confident to take fights. So I like seeing Beginnings on aggressive supports that can actually start the fights off. We do see the Karma slip through Sentinels drafts.
And Sentinels picking up that Jace. I really love this pick because Jace can go anywhere and everywhere. However, we haven't really seen many of the players of Sentinels play the Jace, so I'm really curious to see where it would go. Like, we haven't really, there's no player who has Jace on their as a pocket pick.
If I had to guess, maybe Jace jungle for Tybe. I know it's not super popular, but when I think about Tybe's champ,
The Morgana.
I feel like maybe it could be, although the Morgana jungle also seems pretty enticing, so we'll have to hold our judgment there. But what we do know is that there's a lot of range from Sentinels so far. Of a Binding Lands, you have the Lucian dashing in, you have the Jace throwing out the Shock Blast. You can blow up single targets quickly, so Liberty, they go back to the Xin Zhao.
So Sentinels knows Liberty is gonna pick Xin Zhao, right? Like, it's
Pretty
a very
much.
obvious pick. So picking a Morgana into it, I just feels a bit dangerous because like Morgana has a lot of range, and Xin Zhao's ultimate takes away the damage. And also, like, when Morgana uses her ultimate on your team, who's gonna push her away? It's gonna be the Xin Zhao again. So again, like, I don't see
Black
the
Shield's a
sense.
thing.
Right, Black Shield is a thing. If she times it correctly, she can actually stop it indeed. But Liberty has so much AP to cancel out. It's just, again, I don't necessarily like this draft from Sentinels again.
Twice in a row?
Yeah,
You're leaning
I
towards
didn't like
Liberty
the
in
first draft.
3.
No, but I didn't like it. I honestly didn't like their first draft either. It felt like they won because of that Elder Dragon. But let's see what the last picks are gonna be here.
The bans come through. Kha'Zix taking off the table from Tybe, and the Galio taking off the table from Beginnings. Yeah, I love Beginnings on the Galio, and I think Liberty have identified that's one of his strongest picks. So taking that away 2 games in a row. Sentinels take away the Darius. If they look another Baron laner, there are still other bruisers that Freaks should play. The Riven is one that comes to mind just based on that last game.
So another thing is, Karma is not necessarily going to be played by Mana Freezer. Kona is actually a very big Karma mid player. So right here, Liberty could actually pick a different support champion, like the Set, for example. We've seen him play Set. So I keep hyping this up because I just saw his Thresh. I want to see this guy play Set Kangas.
It's actually crazy that they didn't go towards the Set last time around. Maybe it's
Zed
a meta
actually
read,
mid.
but Zed locked in for Liberty. So that kind of means that we're forcing this Karma into the support role with Corki bot, Zed mid, Xin Zhao jungle. We've seen crazy things like Zed jungle before, but you already have the Xin Zhao. So Sentinel should have a lot of information to work with here.
So what is Sentinel's gonna be picking here, right? Like, honestly, we have no idea where these champions are going. Garen.
Okay.
So it's a Garen in the Baron lane. We don't know whether or not is going in the Dragon lane or in the mid. And I assume it's gonna be going in the hands of Mali. And Morgana is then gonna be going as an APC, and now we're gonna see a support pick. That's what I'm thinking.
I wonder if it's rest on the Morgana, because again, he likes those AP carries. It would fit the champ pool, even though Morgana jungle is the hotness right now. They could save their jungle pick for Tide, or like we had said, the Jace jungle, based on the other picks locked in here, it wouldn't be the weirdest thing.
Oh, it's an Alistar.
Okay, so yeah, so that means Morgana, Alistar, and then Jace jungle. That's what I'm guessing.
Yeah, that's what it is. So indeed, rest yet again on that mage in the Dragon lane. We saw how well he did last game. He dealt like, what, 45,000 damage? Morgana is also one of those champions. It takes time to scale into the late game. He played it very well, the Ziggs. Like, he was able to position himself very safely, stay calm and collective, just farm up, get those items, get that gold, and there is a Camille right there.
I was wondering if we would see it. This is actually Freak's most played champion from the WBR playoffs. Different patch. Camille has been nerfed, but still, Freaks is terrified on this.
And it makes sense in this draft as well, because, you know, when he reaches that level 5, level 13, level 9, like these thresholds is going to give him more and more true damage, because unfortunately Camille's not going to be dealing 100% true damage with her first ability in the beginning anymore. But once she reaches that late game, it shreds through the Garen. It shreds through the Alistar. Like, Camille's going to be able to shred through that composition of Sentinels. But early game, she's not going to do that much.
And I will say, MTS, he's known as almost like a two-trick. Garen, Darius are the two that he plays.
Right.
He does have a pretty mean Camille for the region, which, you know, again, take it or leave it based on the strength of the Baron laners in North America. But he has played the Camille quite a lot. I feel like he's going to be comfortable in this matchup in the early levels. Garen can do a decent job of trying to bully around the Camille.
Early game, yeah.
Early, especially with those nerfs to her first.
For sure, like early game, Garen just... Right now, Garen destroys Camille. She used to be able to win lane against him, but as I said, like now she doesn't deal that true damage anymore. So Garen's second ability is going to be very effective to block a lot of that burst damage of Camille. And like as you said, MTS, Garen, Darius, right? Like these are the two obvious picks that he plays like nearly every single game.
Sentinels up 1-0 in the best of 3. A win here would put them on the map as the first team to win a series from North America at the international stage. Liberty hoping for 2 more in a row to keep their win rate against our region strong. Let's see what Sentinels are bringing to the table. Let's see what Liberty is prepared for.
So we have this matchup again, which is Lucian against Zed. And I keep saying it, I don't think Zed can win lane against Lucian. You can see it here already. Like, Mali is going to be bullying Kona. And especially when he gets his Hole Breaker, Kona is never going to kill him.
Yeah, I mean, Mali played that level 1 exceptionally well. Kona got baited into trying to go for a trade, and the fact that Mali got the piercing light through the minion, gets the CS and hits Kona again. Doesn't that one, but still, yeah, Kona's in trouble right now.
Mali can just freeze the rain right now, force Kona to farm from a long distance, and that's gonna call for the junglers, however. Kinzin doesn't like seeing this in the mid, right?
He's like, all right, I gotta help out Assassin Brethren right now, but okay, he's from buff to Raptors, and is actually wrapping around behind the turret, so not immediately affecting mid.
I would love to see what's happening in mid, because it feels like Mali is actually constant. He's freezing the lane, he's pushing out Kona, but unfortunately the lane is actually pushing towards Liberty, which means Mali is not going to be able to keep the freeze, and there you can see it, he's pushing out the because he has to. Like, otherwise he's going to be losing farm.
Ooh, good trade on the bottom half of the map as well, but Kona actually goes for a reset. Picks up the serrated Dirk. Molly can now shove in another wave.
Yeah, he can shove in another wave, make Kona lose a little bit of farm, but Kona is like, sure, I'll take it, you know, I'm just gonna go back, lose a few hundred gold, it's okay. It's better than him getting ganked and dying.
Tybe's in trouble though. Jace against the Zinja this early with the Karma behind him, flashing over the wall,
no.
into the pit. There's no way to escape that, and Tybe picked off kill over to Mana Freezer.
How did that happen? He filled his flash. He flashed right back into Liberty right there. He wanted to flash over the wall, but his finger went just a little bit too much to the top right there.
The substitute jungler for Sentinels having a rough start to game number 2 here. It's going to put the Jace very far behind. Silver lining. The Dusk said it as well. Mana Freezer's the one that got the kill. So
Yet again, yeah.
He's like this early game support kill monster.
And honestly, like, that's not a good thing indeed. Like the desk said, indeed, like he's not the one that should be getting the kills. It's carries that are supposed to get the kills because at the end of the day, they're gonna be the ones dealing the damage.
We'll see if it works out for Liberty. It's nice to have a gold lead all the same. Beginnings here with the Roman to the mid lane. Gets Hexoak ultimatum. Does not have the unstoppable, but flashes to safety. Freaks balls up deep in enemy territory, but now Sentinels, it's not even their territory. A double kill over to Freaks. Liberty, quicker on the trigger.
Wow, it was beautifully played by Liberty. Let me explain to you how that Alistar didn't. It's because of Rune Aftershock. Literally all in beginnings, and his Aftershock saved his ass. However, they still ended up killing him. But there you can see the importance of the smaller things. Funny thing, by the way, Beginnings is sitting on 1.2k gold right now.
Yep.
I mean, look at it.
Great.
You see? Like, he's taking so little. He's tanking everything. He's tanked all of that without ultimate. He still ended up dying, but just a funny little fact.
The fact that Freak and Kinzin both go in. Freak says, I'm going in for the kill, and Kinzin says, I gotcha, brother. I'm gonna go in with you and make sure that you make it out alive. Didn't even have to burn the barrier.
And Beginning still sitting on level 3, trying to go for the flashy plays. Meanwhile, Mana Freezer is gonna be getting level 5. Beginnings is 2 levels behind right now.
Very little that Sentinels can do. We know that this team sometimes will look to slow down the game and just focus on those objectives. It might be one of those ones this time around. Minute and a half, or minute 10 seconds rather, for Beginnings to hit that level 5 before they might look for a contest at the Dragon or the Herald.
Yeah, I'm expecting a fight at the Dragon or the although we just see a Hullbreaker finished off for Mali. So yet again, like, this team fight is not going to be ideal for Sentinels. As you know, the Hullbreaker is not an item you want to have during a team fight. So it's going to be interesting to see how these teams are going to be playing around the first objectives. I'm expecting...
Okay, Mana Freezer, this is very aggressive right now. Transcendent Embrace, nicely done for Molly to dodge it out, but now he's in trouble with the Death Mark. The damage is there, and he's down. Kinzin might be traded, but Tybe cannot get the damage through the exhaust.
Liberty is constantly out-rotating Sentinels in this game right now. You can see it's 4 of... No, that was a close one. It's 4 of Liberty against every time like 2 or 3 of Sentinels. So of course Sentinels is not going to be able to get ahead of that one.
And again, Mana Freezer with 100% kill participation in the first couple minutes of the game. Liberty's support is just cracked.
He's 1,100 gold ahead. Like, you'd never see this on support. And he's actually going for the Luden's Echo. So this is an approach that you can be taking as a Karma. You know, you're obviously not going to be supporting your team as much because you don't have that Ardent Sensor or any item like that. You have damage, however, right? Like, that first ability is going to be hurting a lot.
And if you got that kill, might as well go for more damage yourself. And also, Freaks having the double kill from the play earlier means that Liberty are in such a comfortable position. Sentinels are actually approaching here to contest the Herald.
No, Sentinels should not be able to contest because, especially Liberty, sitting on that Corki package as well right now, it's interesting to see that Liberty is not just rushing it and fighting it because...
Well, they want mid-control.
Yeah, when you're ahead in a game, it seems like now Kona is rotating and they're gonna go for it right now.
Right onto Tybe. They isolate the jungler and blow him up. Killing spree right now for Freaks. Molly throws out the Colleen to try and poke down Liberty, but they are grouped up, and now they got Molly locked in here. Beginnings trying to peel successfully as so far. Molly flashes away. Now Rest could be in some trouble. Does not land the ultimate. Has to flash away.
And this is exactly what Liberty can do. When you have that Corki package, you have the advantage. You can just get the objective. Like right now, they're sitting on a 2,500 gold lead. And they got that Rift Herald, which means the gold lead is going to be extended even further later on. Freaks is 3-0 Kangas.
Divine Thunder right now, but once he backs, I think he's got maybe another item.
He may die right here.
Sentinels could look for the dive. Oh, Freaks. Didn't land the hook shot he was looking for. Boss is here, though. Now they're just targeting Molly, who has the Hull Breaker, but you don't get the stats. If Beginnings is with you, 7-0 on the scoreboard for Liberty.
And yet again, Liberty just completely out-rotating Sentinels right there. Just every single time, it's Sentinels trying to do something, but Liberty is, you know, they're countering it all the way. Type is 0-3 right now.
0-3 for the Jace jungle. Liberty get the kills top lane. They got the Herald earlier, and now they're getting the Dragon. Game 2 is all on Liberty's side. They have done such a good job of controlling the pace of the game, controlling where Sentinels is allowed to be, and Sentinels are running around like they're not sure what they're allowed to do.
And again, it just feels like Liberty is the better team. Even after that first game, like Liberty felt like the better team. It's just they made that one crucial mistake. Now the question is it gonna happen again this game? Because even though, you know, they are practically, or it seems like they are the better team, they could still make that one crucial mistake.
It's possible. But there's not the Ziggs late game carry. You
Right.
mentioned that Morgana is an AP dealer, but it's not going to build the same. It's not going to deal the same punch at the same range that the Ziggs would.
Yeah, definitely. Morgana is indeed not as much, you know, as a Ziggs. She's not gonna do as much damage, and it takes a longer time as well for Morgana to scale up because, like, she got like 3, 4, 5 items. That's when her pulls finally were starting to do like a lot of damage. While Ziggs' ultimate hurts a lot. While Ziggs' poke already in the mid game hurts a lot.
So Sentinels, without that late game scaling endurance in their back pocket, are in a really rough position. Freaks is walking around here. Oh, he looked to proxy the wave. Little hook shot to safety.
And that's what Camille can do. He can go for that. If there's someone trying to kill him, he just hook shots away.
Now let's see what Liberty's next game plan is. MTS, focus up their aggression. Death mark under the turret.
Oh!
Kona, can he get the damage? It's there.
Wow, that was beautiful. And not only did he kill him, he actually took that honey fruit to deny the healing from the from the Garen right there. So it was like a super funny kill because, you know, Garen could have survived.
And they might kill Beginnings too. Again, Molly has Hullbreaker and Beginnings standing directly on top of him. We've seen this happen before. Sentinels getting routed right now. The exhaust on the Culling means that Molly just does not do the damage that he's hoping for. They're onto the turret. Freaks is under there. They took one shot. Beginnings trying to keep Molly alive as Liberty chase them down. The slow happens. Boss gets the kill onto Beginnings. Molly barely gets out with his life.
Sentinels is definitely not playing correctly with the Hullbreaker, Lucian. Like, when Beginnings is next to him, the Hullbreaker doesn't work. It just gives you some stats that are not good as opposed to other items. Like, I'm not really sure why Sentinels chose to go for the Hullbreaker yet again. Because sure, last game, it did pretty well. We saw that in last game, it did pretty well. But here, it's a little different of a scenario.
And we're looking at the faces of the players. I'm watching to see who's talking, who's not. Sentinels, I'm not seeing a lot of mouths move as Tide caught in a side lane again. Kona is a monster on this Zed.
Wow, Kona just asserting his dominance right there. And, you know, even though MTS on that Garen was sitting right next to him with his ultimate, no. Like, Kona just ulted right back and he didn't even allow MTS to touch a hair of him.
This is, it's looking rough for Sentinels right now. I'm not gonna lie. I know that we had some hope after that game number 1, but Liberty, they're not allowing Sentinels any room to get back in this game. As Freaks will even find Molly in a side lane. This is with the Hullbreaker active. Freaks does not have his own. Oh, no, he does have it completed, actually, with the Divine Sunderer, but with that, he's able to pick up the solo kill. Beginnings doesn't get in range, finally cashes him. Type should have the damage. He doesn't! Freaks gets out again!
Oh, no way. That would have been a massive
Oh, and even
shutdown.
mid lane's going down. An execute on a Mano Freezer. How does that even happen?
Wow, so even though he died, it didn't actually give a kill to Sentinel. So right there, Freaks somehow, some way escaped. Sitting on 5-0, that's a massive shutdown that Sentinels could have potentially gotten right there.
This is going from bad to worse for Sentinels. Liberty feels like they're really living up to the grudge match hype right now. Hells, after game number 1, they're frustrated with how that one got away from them, and they're not going to allow Sentinels away back into this game this time around. 6,000 gold lead. 11-2. full control over the Rift.
And the thing about Liberty is they're known to like either make super plays or fail miserably, right? Like that's the thing with them. Now I'm just hoping that they'll stick to the super plays and not yet again make like, you know, a very bold move in the late game which just instantly loses them this game.
Well, look at the vision control that they have currently.
It's massive.
The entire Rift is lit up. There's not a single approach Sentinels can walk into the river where they will not be spotted, whether it's top side or bot side. Maybe that one tiny sliver from the top Scuttle Crab. Liberty know exactly where Sentinels is, and now they're grouping up on the bottom half of the map, looking to potentially dive MTS. This would be really aggressive, but they can also just go for the turret instead.
Oh!
MTS walks up. Maybe Sentinels can find a pick right here. Mana Freezer taking a lot of damage from Molly's Colane, but the Death Mark just goes straight in. Kona's exhausted. Doesn't have the damage to kill Molly.
Oh, that was a pretty decent fight for Sentinels. You can see, right, like when Rest is able to actually hit his root on Morgana, that shows potential for Sentinels to win the fight. And the later we get into the game, the bigger that potential is going to be, because Morgana's deal more damage, and everyone's going to deal more damage. And especially also MTS on that Garen is going to be able to follow up. However, there is a however.
Yeah.
You can use a stasis enchant while you're rooted. So, you know, obviously Liberty is going to be buying those stasis enchant. Meanwhile, Freaks is looking for something.
You talked about the late game Camille, the ability to 1v1 the Garen. Beginnings takes a huge chunk right there too. Freaks flashing forward, doesn't actually get onto Beginnings. Exhaust onto Kinzin, who's very far forward as well. MTS is frontlining. Not a bad setup for Sentinels right now, but Liberty, they don't overextend. They don't walk into Sentinels jungle.
They can, however, start off this dragon. As they pick up the Honey Fruit, they're very healthy. Should be a free dragon right there. We know what Type can do, but it seems like even Type is not going for it.
Oh, the vision investment pays off for Sentinels as Molly picked up by Kona, who might go down in response, but he's out. Liberty, again, they get out with a sliver of a health bar. Even Freaks will make it out of here as objective secured, kill secured. Liberty about to take game number 2.
Everything secured. Kona, wow! It was Mana Freezer in game 1, but it is Kona in game 2 and Freaks as well. Like, this shows the diversity of the team. It's not just Mana Freezer that makes the crazy plays. The entire team is doing it right now.
Freaks is 5-0-2.
Kinzin is 1-0-6.
3 people on Liberty have yet to die. There's only 2 kills for Sentinels. They do not feel comfortable with this draft. They do not feel comfortable against Liberty in these early games, and it makes me wonder, do they have what it takes to make it through a series? Looking for a pick out of Kinzin. Sure, this is a good start if they can actually get the Xin Zhao, but look at the side lanes. They invest all 5 members there, and they're gonna lose an inhibitor turret potentially for this.
So, like, the question is this worth for Sentinels? The answer is no, because they're losing an
Look at
inhibitor
this.
turret for it.
That's 3 Hullbreaker and powered cannons. He just takes the inhib.
Like, this is what I mean. Just Liberty is completely outplaying. Not only an inhib, you see how Camille's taking another turret on the top side. Sure, you get the Kinzin, but what do you give up for it?
The only other regions that I have seen exert this kind of macro control over the Rift are from the WRL. Liberty are playing like one of the Chinese representatives here, saying, sure, we'll let our jungler die, but we'll take everything else from you for that. Kona will get away again here.
No way, no way. No.
Oh, Mana Freezer with the root, and Kona makes it out.
He makes it out again. What is happening right
They're
there?
TPing to Baron.
Yes, they're TPing to Baron because Type is sitting in the bot lane.
Oh, wait, actually, this might be too much. Freaks is low. Sentinels are approaching.
Type is not here. Type
Baron's
is not
low.
here.
Beginnings goes in. They're trying to get some kills. They're not going to get the objective. MTS is into the pit. Baron secured. What can Sentinels do from here? Liberty get the first kill on the Molly. Now they're looking for more here onto MTS. A double the boss. Positions perfectly in the fight. Triple kill the boss. Quadra kill the boss. Is he going to go for more? It's just the 1-0. Mana Freezer actually stole the pentakill, but Liberty with another prime ace, and they will take game 2 against Sentinels.
And this is what we expect from Liberty. This is what they should have done in game 1. Perfect Baron call. They saw Type sitting in the bot lane. They instantly started it off. And right here and there, they're equalizing the series.
Liberty strike back fierce in this series. No room for error, no room for misplays. Sentinels learn the power of Brazil.
Oh yeah, and this was crazy, Kangas. Like, this was top notch right there. There were like 15,000 gold ahead. Most of them did not die. Like, that was a different Liberty than we saw in the first game.
I mean, we were so excited about the Thresh. I guess it was the karma that we needed to be worried about. Made it through the draft. Historically, at Icons has been banned out as you look at most of the other regions and their focus on the meta. Sentinels going back to that Lucian pick on Blue 1 did not work out for them this time around. But from Liberty's side, it was mostly still Freaks. Like, this Baron laner is actually just insane.
Yeah, and giving him Camille, you know, he shows you this guy can play Camille. It's one of his most played champions. It's one of his most played champions, and he just got it, and he showed why that's the case, right? Like 5-0 and just not dying at all, making perfect plays. His Hextech ultimatum constantly cut out players. All of the players from Liberty are just showing their power right now.
And looking at the faces of the Sentinels players, those looked like frustrated faces, defeated faces.
It's like a little brother getting beaten by the big brother, right? Like, you know you cannot do anything. That's what it felt like. Like, they got a lucky swing in the first game. But again, I still feel that Liberty was stronger in that first game as well. They just got that lucky Elder Dragon moment where Liberty screwed up.
Momentum is real in a series here, Hells. And now, Liberty have that momentum.
Oh, yeah, they have that momentum.
Let's send it back over to Degon and everybody else to hear their thoughts on game number 2. Do we have hope, Degon?
We have hope. We have this is what it feels like. Kangas, I hope that you have more hope, right? You're gonna be the one calling it there, Degon, Omo, and Stuart here. All right, okay, you know,
honestly, you might not have been able to see it, but backstage, Degon, like, heart meter probably went, you know, skyrocketed.
It went really high and then very low. And then we're here. All right. All right. Let's take a look at draft to kick things off here, because that was something that I thought was important, but you all thought that there was just a couple of minor tweaks that ended up having a huge impact.
I mean, after the draft completed, I ended up saying that I really like what Liberty drafted here, right? I think overall they had a lot of win conditions in this game. Side laning was definitely a big one. That's something we saw at the end of the game. Kangas called it WRL light, WRL-esque even. While I might not agree with that extent of how good it was, I do think the side lane was done very well this game, and credits to the solo laners from the side of Liberty as well. I think they played extremely well mechanically too.
Yeah, Kona and Freaks really did perform well. You know, on the other side with Sentinels though, their drafts looked good, but I feel like the positions might have changed, could have changed a little bit. You know, I think the Morgana going into the jungle might have been a better play, Jace in the mid lane, and then Lucian down in the bot lane. But instead, you know, because Rest doesn't play these AD carries, Rest is more of an AP style duo laner. He can't play champions like Lucian. That means that flexibility that they could have had in the draft wasn't really there. And I guess Liberty did their homework and they knew exactly what they were going to do.
Yeah, there was, again, a lot of cheering in terms of the Brazilian side during the pick ban phase. It's almost like they knew, all right, they banned Gragas on ban number 5. We can go with Zed, and they're not going to have an answer, and we know where they're going to end up. Also, Tybe having a rough game here on the Jace. And again, that Jace could have gone other places. You were saying maybe a little bit a couple patches ago it could have been Jungle Jace okay, but not only was it underpowered, he was also bullied along by that bully in the support role, Mano Freezer.
Frankly, I just never really liked Jace Jungle. I think you lose half the power of Jace by not letting him be in a lane, and you see exactly this combo right there. I love the fact that Mano Freezer doesn't have to be on a playmaker this time. He's happy playing the Karma, enabling his Xin, enabling his Camille to make these plays themselves.
And another big thing about Sentinels as well was also Beginnings on this Alistar.
Yes.
You know, Beginnings was trying to roam around so much in the early game, but in my opinion, it was a little bit too much. You know, he wasn't getting any experience. He wasn't getting any goals. At one point during the game as well, he was 2 levels behind Mano Freezer as well. And that Karma, you know, first pick priority for Sentinels, they went for the Lucian instead. They gave over the Karma to Mano Freezer, which we know him to be an aggressive support, but he can also play these enchanters as well. He really had a great performance. And Beginnings kind of struggled a little bit with the roams.
It felt like Beginnings was getting I guess baited into roaming as much, but having nowhere near the same amount of impact. And like you said, it was level 5 to level 3. It was at the level where you get in your ultimate. Not the case there for Beginnings. And after that, Tybe with the flash into the wall rather than over the wall into the dragon pit. There was just a lot of nerves and maybe too much of a downturn to be able to come back. There were a couple fights there that looked okay. We're like, okay, Sentinels are getting a couple kills, but in a situation where they weren't getting anything else on the map.
Yeah, I want to touch on the point about beginnings a little bit more. The way you think about tempo, the way you think about how you play aggressively and control the game, control the map, it's really, I don't have an analogy for this, like a house of cards, I guess. You need to build off each other. If I sacrifice my lane, my tempo as a support, we need to make things work on the map. If not, I start to fall behind, and then that hurts the rest of the team even more, and things just start to collapse.
And I think that was what's happened as well, is that he was roaming through the jungle, but he was just walking around. He wasn't really doing that much. He wasn't getting advantage. Yeah, you need to get an advantage in the other lane, whether that's Baron lane, whether that's mid lane, if you're going to be roaming around as support, because like I said, you're going to be missing out on experience and gold.
I gotta inform you, Omo. That was an analogy. Your house of cards.
That's not a good one. It's a pretty bad one.
That's good. That was okay. I mean, we got it. And so I guess what you're saying is the team I guess, walked to the beat of beginning's drum. There we go.
I'm trying to do something along the lines of they build off each other, but I don't really know where I'm going with it. I'll think about it. I'll come back better tomorrow. That's my promise to you.
All right. That's your bold prediction.
Whenever. If I'm not fired by tomorrow.
I am a wreck. I'm nervous. It's been a long day. We thought that we're going to celebrate the first series that North America's won on in the international stage, getting through the demons of Brazil, right? Because they lost to them before, and we're just going to have to wait. NA fans, who's feeling like this with me? I'm sure Kangas is feeling that way too. Oh, man.
TJ at home as well, I'm sure.
Right.
Yeah, Rafa as well. There's a bunch of NA representatives here, but...
I mean, I feel like I'm not
you.
even accosted today. I feel like I'm not Alice today. I'm here to comfort you at first, and I'm here to comfort Deacon, but it's not over yet.
All right. Hey, look, these were our predictions before the series started. Anyone want to join the NA side, though? Right? We had a bad draft in the last game, right? Coach Pierce, sometimes it happens, all right? And we'll give you that pass this time, Pierce, if you win this game. No?
No,
I'm good. We're good. Thanks, Dom.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Appreciate it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm on the Brazil hype train.
Yeah! Vamos, Brazil. Let's go.
All right. Well, I think I'm trusting the boys to go ahead and right the ship again. This has been a year in the making, getting this roster right, getting this team to this stage, and a little setback won't stop them now. This is it. Game number 3. Let's see who's heading to the winner's bracket and send it back on over to Kangas and Hell's Devil.
It's the Brazil hype train, but it's the NA iceberg, right? Like, which one is going to stop it? Like, is it going to be able to stop the hype train?
An iceberg.
I don't care that it's not a boat.
On a train track. Okay.
We're talking weird things here
All
because
I'm remembering is Horizon Cup, the same thing happening. We have odd drafts, and we throw away a series to Brazil, and that's what I'm worried about right now. But I still have faith. You know what? Hell's what I need you to do right now, because Stuart, Omo, they kept their predictions. I need you to change your prediction to Liberty. I need the reverse caster curse to happen right now, okay? I think we had too much faith in Sentinels. Let's ease up the pressure a little bit.
No, but
let's give them room.
If I could, I would genuinely reverse my predictions. Because if you look at Liberty, you know, they were so much better. First game and second game, even they lost the first game. Their drafts are far superior to Sentinels.
Yeah.
So, like, my heart wants Sentinels to win. I want a Western team to win Kangas. Even though
we're
it's not
getting
a
one either way, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
right. But
and that's the thing, is Brazil, their journey here at the international stage for Wild Rift has been impressive. This is an esport where they actually are starting to shine.
definitely, their teams are starting to look much stronger. And Liberty being their 3rd seed, right? Like,
This is their 3rd seed!
this is the 3rd seed. It's like, they're playing incredibly well. And like, now it's all about consistency. Can they keep this up in the 3rd game? And we know they struggle with this. We know that they have used to won like 1 or 2 or 3 games in a series, but then they just lost everything. And that is the problem with Liberty. So are they going to be able to keep it up through this 3rd game?
I think if they have as good of drafts as they have in the last 2 games, they should be favorited from this point forward. Sentinels need to pivot. They need to find something else that works for them. We were talking about like what might be the answer. Potentially leaving up the Thresh again, banning that Karma still. There's a couple roads that they can take here, but one of the biggest things is getting Tybe on the same page as the rest of the team.
And the problem right now is, right, because Liberty understands the power of Rest's Ziggs. They're not gonna give him Ziggs again. So like, you have to identify, hey, what else can work on Rest? And it's not the Morgana, because Rest is the type of player that has to carry the team. And as we head into this draft right now, right, like, what is gonna be banned? We know what Liberty is gonna ban. They're gonna ban the Ziggs. But what is Sentinel gonna ban? Are they gonna ban the Xin Zhao? Are they gonna ban the Thresh? Are they gonna ban the Zed? Are they gonna ban the Camille? What the hell are they gonna ban, Kangas?
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. All right, Thresh.
There's
is still
Thresh.
banned. I wouldn't hate a run back of the same bans as long as they don't go for the Jace jungle. I agree with the analyst desk. An overreach. I predicted that maybe that's what they were going to do early on in their draft, but I wasn't excited about it because I think that's old meta. Tybes made that work in the past. I don't think you can make it work now.
So I don't quite understand why Sentinels would ban out the Karma, because they can pick the Karma.
Well,
right?
they went to Lucian. They've been showing that they go blue 1 Lucian.
Right, like they constantly first pick Lucian. I just don't really see many, like the point of it. I prefer a Karma first pick, but it seems like Sentinel thinks otherwise. But yeah, they have to ban it out. They can't give away Karma to Liberty, right?
It did not work for them in the last game. That's what we know, based on the
So is the Ziggs gonna get banned now? Yeah,
Zig,
of course.
Okay, it's
yeah.
Ziggs, not Lucian. So do Sentinels just go for the Lucian again?
I really hope not, but they will, right? Like, I just hope they won't, because I don't like seeing them go for Lucian. Because what is Liberty gonna do? They're gonna pick the Camille's, they're gonna pick the Xin Zhao's, they're gonna pick the Zeds. Like, those are the power picks that Liberty has, and they know they can deal with that Lucian. Camille, there you go.
Okay, we do have a pivot from Sentinels. It is not Lucian, blue side 3 games in a row. They go for the Camille instead, which leaves the Lucian up for Liberty.
And Xin Zhao, that's also going to be picked, because if Liberty doesn't pick Xin Zhao, I assume Sentinels is going to be picking that one away as well.
Ooh, you think Ty would grab that one?
Why
Yeah,
not?
it
Yeah.
could fit
Oh,
in.
the Wukong was left open. We forgot to talk about that one. That is another champion that gains in place. Fun fact, by the way, Xin Zhao and Wukong are by far the most played champions by Kinzin.
Yeah.
And I believe every single game he got one of those, right? He got 2 Xin Zhaos and now he got a Wukong.
Throughout playoffs, yeah, and then like Olaf was kind of his third string.
Kind of,
if, if it fit the comp
There's
a little
the
bit
Ashe.
better. But Ashe, one of the marksmen that Rest will pivot towards when they need more physical damage. Also not a bad way for them to find some engage. That Enchanted Crystal Arrow can look to get picks, but it hasn't
There
always
you
been
go.
the
This
most
is what I want to see,
successful.
Kangas.
Okay.
This is what I want to see. The engage, right? They have the Camille, they have the Ashe Arrow, and now they have the Diana as well. You stun someone and boom, you go in. You follow up. Galio is also left open. Galio is one of those champions that can also follow up. I assume Liberty is going to be taking that away by either picking it or banning it, because you really cannot deal with that composition.
Oh ho ho. Okay, I'm gonna finish off here. Molly's most played champion is Diana, so that's also exciting in that way. But Liberty, we've seen the Lucian put into the mid lane so many times at Icons. I think this is gonna be Lucian Nami Dragon lane.
It's a
not
good
even that
combo.
big of a prediction. It's so strong versus the Ashe. You can just run through, bulldoze this lane, and Rest is not a player who's known for winning lane. I'm getting nervous right now, Hells.
Yeah, I'm getting nervous as well. And yeah, there you get the Z ban. This is the respect ban from Sentinels. They're banning away this. There you go. That's the
Yeah.
Galio ban that I was talking about. Liberty had to do that because it fully made sense with that composition of Sentinels, right? You go in, Galio follows up. You cannot do anything. Even a Stasis Enchant is not going to save. So yet again, very nice draft by Liberty right there. Let's see how Sentinels deals with it.
There's a couple options they can go towards. Lulu has made it through a lot of the ban phases. I'm wondering if maybe you go for it. You still get beat up in lane, which doesn't feel great, but it's something that can try and mitigate some of the dive potential and then can scale up with that Camille, the Diana. Because otherwise, when you look at...
Oh, it's a
Beginnings of
Veigar!
Okay, yeah.
Sorry,
let's
sorry,
try-
I
no,
cut
no,
you
go
off.
for it.
I cut you off, sorry. When I see a Veigar, that's my
No,
reaction.
that's the appropriate reaction when we see their champion locked in.
Alistar, that's the pick for Sentinels right now. You know, you
Okay.
need engage. Alistar, Leona, they Liberty banned away the Galio, but you cannot get away with like a held back Enchanter support right there. That's not what Sentinels' composition revolves around. Their composition revolves around all inning. Garen also somewhat contributes to it. He goes all in. It's going to be interesting to see what Sentinels actually decides to pick as their last champion, however.
They go back to the Garen for MTS, which means it will not
Set.
be MTS on the Camille. I was wondering also Set could be an opportunity. It's something that can be aggressive early on, still fits Beginnings Engage style.
Now, however, Veigar is good into this. We know how good Veigar is into these types of bruises, right?
Yeah.
Like the Garen, like Diana, like the Set. This is what Veigar wants to be playing against. So all Liberty needs to do right now is protect that Veigar. So the last pick needs to be somewhat of a protective pick. They have enough damage. There's the Darius, which is going to be
Okay.
serving as a front line with that
Yeah.
Wukong. But I'm not sure how Darius is supposed to protect the Veigar as much. So this is going to be a fun game. I love watching Veigar games, Kangas.
It scales so incredibly
Yeah.
well. It is terrifying. if we get into that late game, where that's how Sentinels won game 1. It was get to the late game, scale up, go for that Elder Dragon play. Liberty are like, all right, well, we're going to remove that option because you can't outscale a Vygar. I mean, maybe there's a few champions like Nasus if you really want to dig deep, but Sentinels don't have those ones. Liberty also have early game power with Lucian Nami. They're covering all their bases.
And Liberty has a front line for the late game, so it's going to be really hard to rest on that Ashe to reach that Veigar. Like, Veigar should essentially never be reached. However, Nami is also going to be vulnerable. Like, you want to dive those champions. You don't want to be diving the front line. You want to be diving deep in the back line. But now it's going to be up to Rest to get that arrow to the back line.
And it will also be up to Tybe on the Camille. One of his signature picks. We have montage reels in North America of Tybe going for Elder Dragon steals, Baron steals on this champion in particular. He made a reputation for himself on Camille in the jungle. Sentinels are putting him back on Comfort when he seems like the one that has been a little disconnected from the team, especially when we look at that game number 2. Sentinels going in towards more comfort zone here. This could be a recipe for success, but I still really like what Liberty drafted.
I really like what Liberty drafted as well. Sentinels had a good plan, but then Liberty coming with that bold pick, the Veigar. It makes so much sense. Like, not any team would just pick this, but this particular draft right here, this is a Veigar draft, right? Like, I just love what the coaches and basically what the person deciding the draft did for Liberty right here.
Game 3 loaded onto the Rift. Sentinels versus Liberty.
Ooh.
The grudge match of North America versus Brazil. North American fans will remember what happened at Horizon Cup, and Sentinels go for an interesting play here. Pushing mid as a group, going bot as a group.
So they're sharing golden experience. Like, at the end of the day, this is going to give you more golden experience, but you have to ask yourself, you just gave Veigar 4 stacks for free. And even though it may not sound like a lot, this goes exponentially. Like, if you give him 4 stacks in the beginning, he's going to be able to get more and more and more and more stacks. You don't want to be giving Veigar a free lane. That's the last champion you want to be giving a free lane.
Yeah, I wonder what the gameplay was there. Okay, Flash from Beginnings wants to get really aggressive onto Boss. Mana Freezer takes some damage there too. Okay, Sentinels, they win the trade bot lane. But back to that mid lane play. Maybe the plan was to push in the wave on Dakota so he doesn't get the CS, but he got the turret.
Ooh, MTS was tanking the damage very easily against Freaks right there. And that is not the play. That is just not the play from Sentinels. Sure, they got a lot of golden experience, but you can see they're not even ahead in golden experience. So it ended up not working. And Mali is, he's not ahead of the Veigar, and in fact, he's actually going to be behind a little bit because Veigar had been farming for free.
Did get them to level 2 against Boss and Mana Freezer, and then they got that trade, but resets come through, and actually it's Mana Freezer with an early roam topside, Beginnings as well. Freaks doesn't flash away, but the hookshot misses from Tybe. That means misses. Sentinels, they don't succeed the dive.
Everything missed right there. The hookshot missed. The set abilities missed. Everything missed. That was just a very unfortunate gank right there from Set. And if Beginnings had his flash right there, he would have been able to kill him. But unfortunately, he just kind of wasted it in the early game to not do much in his laning phase.
And now Rest has to solo lane against Boss for a full wave and a half. And we know that Ashe can't really do that against the Lucian. So has to back off, loses 1 minion for it.
So Kona is going for a Rod of Ages, and normally I always say I don't like Rod of Ages on Veigar, but in this particular game right here, it's perfect item, right? Like, he doesn't need damage early game, he needs skill into the late game, and that Rod of Ages is going to give him a lot of HP, and that's what he needs against this all-in type of composition of Sentinels, because once he survives that initial engage, he also will get a stasis, of course. He can use his abilities and his ultimate, and he'll just one-shot anyone.
And like you were saying, the health bar getting bigger means that the Diana, the Camille set won't be nearly as scary. Speaking of, Diana in the cage right now, dodges out on the bubble. Molly doing a decent job, but it's just not enough. Kona still had the ultimate. Doesn't have enough damage to kill Molly.
And if Rest had just used that ultimate a little bit earlier, I think Molly could have killed both of them right there.
Honestly, that was pretty close. Like, Molly almost turned that play into 1v2. Mana Freezer, known for those early game roams,
they're
doesn't
going for it
succeed
again.
this time around. Tybe with a flash forward. He's stunned under the turret though. Kona facebreakered back. First blood to Sentinels.
And that's the type we know, right? Like, this is what we know. A beautiful gank right there, and Rest is
He's gonna die. Cole under turret. Oh, boss! He thought he had it.
Oh,
Not quite.
that was a close one. And Smally falls to that one right there. That's an unfortunate one. So Rest is actually doing a pretty good job standing alone in his wave, right? Like, he's letting Beginnings roam around a lot. But the question is, has it been worth it? Beginnings has only been able to get 1 kill, unfortunately.
It is a kill, but still a gold lead to Liberty here, as they now look to put pressure on the bottom half of the map again.
Oh, they're invading him.
Kinzen sees Tybe, full level up. Tybe does not realize, now he's completely surrounded. Tybe caught out in his own jungle, has the help of Beginnings, still alive, survived for quite a while, and now Kona too far forward, pulled right back in by Beginnings, and that's a trade of kills for Sentinels.
Which is fine for Liberty. Because, you know, this is a trade of kills, but Kona is getting those stacks up. Like, this is how Veigar works. Veigar has 1 kill right now, which is 5 stacks. He finishes Word of Ages. It's a very slow champion, but every single kill, every single minion matters. It stacks up, and especially when he gets that Rabadon's Death Cap, which is very likely going to be his second item, those stacks are going to be amping up his damage a lot.
He is behind in gold as of right now. Molly has done a decent job. I guess getting those 2 kills definitely helps right there. So 1,000 up in the lead here. Sentinels need to find ways to get a lead early on, though. The later this game goes, the worse it's going to look for them. And right now, Liberty are still holding on to a slight gold lead.
And it's interesting to see how hard Tybe is getting out-jungled by Kinzen. We've seen Tybe play. We've seen the mechanical prowess of this guy. We've seen how good he is. But he's 1,000 gold behind Kinzen right now.
As objectives have spawned too. Looks like Sentinels are setting up around this dragon. They're controlling some of the vision. Liberty might approach.
MTS is not there, however. He's going to be a little late. He seems to be rotating right now, you know, pushing that wave, making Freaks lose some farm. And that's pretty good for them if it works out. So Sentinels seems to be looking for this dragon, and they should, because at this moment, Veigar is still quite weak, but Liberty has the vision advantage right now.
And they have a Death Brush set up.
Oh, yeah.
Sentinels need to be very careful on the approach. They have the hawk shots and the volleys to check out where Liberty might be, where they aren't. And they also keep these wards on the dragon.
And the thing is, Sentinels has to be the one to engage. Right? You have to be the active team right here. You can't be the reactive team. If Wukong goes in, you can't deal with that, because then the Veigar uses his cage and everything is gonna go wrong. Ooh. You have to be the team that goes in. You have to have the Ash Arrow. You have to have the Diana engage. Like, all of the abilities, all of the champions of Sentinels are, hey, I wanna engage.
I was looking at Molly there, who had a potential 1v1 against Boss.
Tybe is missing.
Tybe is top side of the map, so Liberty, they start up the dragon.
He's gonna steal this one. I'm predicting it. He's gonna steal this
right
one.
Now. He's known for it. Just hit level 8. He could look over the wall. Molly tries to escape. The Ash Arrow lands onto Freaks. As now Sentinels are positioning for the dragon that just reset here. Liberty still have the inside track of the river. They're approaching here. Tidal wave goes out. Beginnings isolated from the rest of the team. They're chasing out the flash away. The flash forward with the upper hand of Freaks. And Liberty find the first kill of the fight. MTS almost trades one back at Kinzen for it. All of his health bar. But now Tybe gets some damage onto Freaks. That's a big moonfall from Molly onto all members of Liberty. Boss barely alive. The cage. Kona putting in work, but doesn't have the damage. He's about to be out of mana. Tybe's going forward. Mana Freezer can barely keep him alive. Tybe under the turret will find the kill. Kinzen now chasing him down. He's slowed, but on a killing spree, will still find the kills.
And there you can see the potential of the composition of Sentinels. Mali was not even there in the beginning of the fight, but there you could see it, right? Camille ults, and they all in. Mali's ultimate on that Diana is going to deal massive damage. And as we look into this replay, we can see that Beginnings unfortunately got caught by those Shadow Enchant, but we are not a fight.
Right back alive. Beginnings again. Alone here. Protobelt's to safety. The bleed stacks. Is he going to die? I think he does. Oh, barely lives.
And this is not the dragon you want to be giving to Liberty Kangas. This is probably the last dragon you want to be giving.
Not the lane you want to be in if you're Molly either. Trying his best to escape.
Oh.
That's a good arrow right there. Boss in trouble. He's locked out. Tybe doesn't have the damage.
Oh,
Molly go in. Finds it. Rest now isolated. Kinzen on a rampage. This against Wukong. There's a reason that's banned against him.
There is a reason it's banned against him. This guy is gonna be a famous player. Like, but the problem is, there's 2 champions he's this good at, right? Like, it's not a one pick. He has 2 champions. So the question is, when you play against him, do you just ban both of them and leave everything open? Like, that's the beauty of this guy, right?
The Wukong. And the Xin was up this time, but he opted for the Wukong. It depends on what the team wants to do. But all we know is that he is running circles around Tybe.
Oh yeah, he's running circles around Tybe as well. Sitting on 4-0-1-1. This guy is showing what it's like to be a top tier jungler right now. Starting off the Rift hard as well, you know, showing his confidence in his macro play, showing his confidence in his calls. Like, he's just gonna get it. No one is gonna contest it.
It is still even gold right now. Sentinels, if they walk up, maybe they can contest. Kinzin's on it, secures the objective, and the cage should ensure that he gets out.
Oh.
Immediate QSS coming in, the cleanse for Kona.
Yeah.
And he's just going to keep scaling up. So Liberty getting these objectives, Sentinels have yet to find any purchase in this game.
So even though you catch Kona with that Ashe arrow, you can still escape with the QSS. But he doesn't have a stasis enchant. So Tybe has the opportunity to use his ultimate now. So it's interesting to see how Liberty decided to pick up that QSS instead of a stasis enchant on Kona. So essentially the front line of Liberty has to keep Tybe away. But Tybe, his job is gonna be diving Kona in that late game.
His job is to have confidence, and Boss did the same. So they're
Yeah.
opting to reduce the stun duration of the Ashe, just use that immediately as their hit.
Ooh.
Misses on Kona that time. If that had landed, he was surely dead. But now it's instead Beginnings, just almost popped like a balloon, but it's actually Molly that's focused down by Freaks and Kinzin. Liberty just have so much pressure.
Kinzin is just dealing so much damage in the backline right now.
And they're looking for more. They get the turret. Okay, they're not going to find a kill.
Yeah, they're fearless right now. Kinzin is fearless. He's sitting on 2 items right now, while Tybe is only halfway through his 2nd item. And when Wukong is able to get those items, he's gonna be unkillable. He's gonna carry the fight, and he's gonna be a massive nuisance to deal with, because that ultimate, that knock-up is not a joke, Kangas.
The crazy thing is Molly even went for some armor in the build and still gets bursted down. Diana, I mean, we always had this saying in North America, kind of a acceptably tanky champion. Feels like paper right now against Kinzin with the Divide Sunder HP damage, as well as the armor shred of this Black Cleaver.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Liberty, however, Kona, like the Veigar on Kona is not really working out right now. He's sitting on 0 and 3. He doesn't have a lot of stacks because he doesn't have a lot of kills, but it's okay. His team got him. Like, that's what we talked about Liberty. If a guy screws up,
Arrow went onto Kinzin, and that meant that Tybe says, I don't want the play anymore, but Beginnings, he was already in the play. Flash forward from Kona. Cage means flash from Tybe. Beginnings goes down, and Liberty are just so quick to pull the trigger.
And unfortunately, Beginnings is just constantly getting caught off guard, and Mana Freezer is always using his shadows. Ooh, Tybe is constantly baiting me into something.
Yeah, now that the turret's under pressure,
there
that's
we
a
go.
Moonfall coming in from Molly. They're looking for something onto the back line. Can they get the damage? Exhaust here. Boss is in trouble. Kona's in trouble. They don't have the Wukong ultimate to peel away all this dive from Sentinels.
It's so rough to play this competition as Sentinels, because you have to force those engages. It's like, you know, you have to get out of your comfort zone. You just have to go super deep into the enemies and go for it. And Tybe is looking for a flank.
He wants this. Slow onto 2. They got 1. They got 2. Sentinels are chasing these kills down, but they can't get the kill onto the 2nd. Boss barely lives.
Oh man, this is so close. This game is just way too close right now. The gold, there is no gold lead. There is no gold lead. There is no kill lead. There is no lead at all except for a dragon.
It is a dead, even game. But you have to look at the champions on the Rift. There's still this ticking time bomb of a Veigar. You said, yeah, he doesn't have a lot of kill participation, so he's not stacking up as quickly as you would hope for the Veigar, but he is still stacking. The later this game goes, the harder it becomes for Sentinels.
Oh yeah, if that Veigar gets to the late game with like 4 items, 5 items, he's gonna, as I said, like he's gonna one-shot anyone, right? And he's not gonna get killed unless Tybe on that Camille is able to reach them. But Kinzin on that Wukong, unfortunately, actually died, and that is, like as you can see right now, Sentinels is having the gold lead. Kinzin gave a massive bounty to Sentinels right there.
It's a little bit of a goal, but I appreciate your optimism. As now the Dragon is the next focus here, and Liberty are just gonna hard force it.
Oh yeah, they can, and they're just gonna keep Tybe away. As you can see, Sentinels does have vision, however.
Ooh, they opt for the fight instead. Looking for the damage onto Kona right here as QSS uses it. Boss trying to get out the damage with the call, but a big engage from Beginnings. Pulls in the carries, and Sentinels, they start off the fight huge with a kill on the Boss. They haven't lost anybody yet, and they also reset the Dragon.
And finally, Beginning is in the right position, finally using his abilities the right way. You can see if Beginnings actually engages properly and not get caught out for no reason, Sentinels wins this fight right now, and that was just beautifully played by them.
Flank. Look at this beautiful flank on Molly. Oh, he doesn't have the ultimate. The Whirlwind's not available.
Yeah, this is just a very close game all out, and Sentinels is able to secure that Dragon right here. Mid lane turret is still standing for Liberty, which is going to be a very, very important turret for them, of course. Like, that first mid lane turret is by far the most important turret in the game.
Sentinels have found some purchase in Game 3 here. What a gold grab.
Look at that,
It
it's
has
so
been
close.
Just bouncing around, the pendulum swinging between these teams, but never crescenting 2,000 gold until this moment. And even then, 2,000 gold is not insurmountable.
It's nothing. Yeah.
It doesn't feel like much.
This is a banger last game, Kangas. This is what we expect from these two teams. Like, both of them want to win this. This is such an important game to take, because if you lose this, you have to win 2 games straight. But if you win this, you have so many opportunities to qualify to the group stage. So this is such an important game to win. And MT has just picked up his Guardian Angel as well. And the next dragon that's going to be spawning, not soon, but in a few minutes, is going to be the Elder Dragon as well.
The rivalry between two regions in the same group at Horizon Cup.
Sentinel's
The
got some big
WBR
items
came
right
up
now, by the way.
ahead in that moment. Now the Ash Arrow goes out, but it goes wide, and that's a pick for Liberty. They even get flash out of Beginnings. Do they want to go for more? Kinzen goes forward. There's no objectives for them to take, but a pick on the Type. It's still gold in their pockets.
What happened? What happened? Type just died. That's a free Baron right there. What did Type just do? He was playing this game so incredibly well, and now he just what happened?
I don't know if they're going to commit to the Baron, though. Liberty don't quite have the confidence for it. They'll push out the mid wave. Time's up in 15 seconds, but with the Scuttle Crab there, Sentinels should read if Liberty go for this, so Liberty pull it off.
I like how Liberty didn't go for it, because, you know, they had a lot of gold in their pocket, and looking at the composition of Sentinels, right, like, even though it's a 4 versus 5, they have this all-in combo, right? And when you do the Baron, you lose magic resist, you lose armor, so you're even more vulnerable against this composition. So very, very well played by Liberty to not go for that.
And Molly with the Rabadon's Death Cap completed as well. If you get a Moonfall
You
in
die.
the Baron Pit, yeah, Liberty is in trouble. These Ash Arrows.
Okay.
I don't know if... was that meant to be a hawk shot?
I think it was meant to be a hawk shot, but it's okay. Ash Arrow is on a very low cooldown. Unfortunately, he actually used it right before level 13, so it's still on a substantial cooldown. But you can see, he already has it back, so it's okay. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah, halfway back. It will be back before any big objectives are up, because we're already into the Elder Dragon territory right now. But that gold lead is right back to even, Hells. Sentinels at it for a little bit. I don't know if we can take another look at that gold graph. We should just have that up at all times. You're just gonna like watch like the waves.
It's just a wave
Up
between
and
these two
down,
teams. It's just a mini wave, but well, the next fight is pretty much the game decider right here, and Kinzen is looking for an engage, as you can see. There it is. It's just a wave, right? Like, it goes down, it goes up just a little bit, then it goes down, and then it goes back up again. And it's going back down yet again, Kangas.
The tension you can feel in the studio, the faces of these players, the intensity on their faces. As one false move could mean the series, could mean the rivalry going one way, and neither of them want that.
Oh, everyone's heart is beating super hard right now. I can tell you that right now. On the stage, they're like, you can see right now how calm they're trying to be. That, you know, they don't want to make the bold plays again, because Type just died earlier. He nearly lost the game, but now he's probably not gonna make that mistake again. There is no way that he can make that mistake again right now, because the Baron is gonna be up for grabs.
Another Ash Arrow goes out. They're just fishing with these. And this is also what Sentinels tried to do in the WNS finals. They did this against Immortals.
Just every arrow? Is that what you're trying to say?
I mean, essentially, yeah, they would go fishing for them, but they just didn't find them. And that's the issue, is that if this is your game plan, try and throw out an Ash Arrow from Fog of War and then hope that you hit somebody so Tybe can clean them up. I mean, if it happens, it looks cool, but it's just a very low chance of you actually pulling it off. Liberty, they've read it every time, and they've played very respectfully of the engage range of this Ashe.
Yeah, definitely. And the Ashe is sitting on 3 items as well. She has a Muramana, she has the Trinity Force, she has the Blade of the Rune King. Those are some strong items. And these are also items that allow Rest to actually chunk down the front line as well, since the Blade of the Rune King is going to be dealing a lot of damage.
Throws out the Hawkshot a little short there as well. I think we're seeing nerves coming from
Oh,
Sentinels.
yeah.
I was saying how important this game is, how important this match is to the team, to the region, from both sides. Sentinels have the inside track of the Elder Dragon.
You can see both of them. They're just both sitting and waiting, right? Like both are so scared. Tybe actually starts off the Elder Dragon right here.
They're just going to force Liberty in.
Oh!
And Kinzen says, all right, I'll take that fight. Beginnings chunked down very low, still barely alive. The Dragon might just take him down. Sentinels don't look good in this fight. Liberty have done it. They get 1 kill. MTS looks for more, and now Tybe throws himself in. Can Molly get a big kill? But he's the one that was actually picked up before the Moonfall even went down. Sentinels don't have this big AoE engage. They don't have this big team fight tool, and that means Liberty can go forward. They got Beginnings. Liberty are making it happen. No one has fallen from the WBR representatives, and they are on the Elder Dragon.
Oh my god, and they're creeping Vicodin.
Free gets the pull onto Tybe, and now Sentinels are in a really rough spot. Liberty can move forward. Rest doing the damage that he can. Boss, the bubble from Mano Freezer seals the fate of Rest. A double kill to Freaks. Liberty will find the Prime Ace right before the Dragon, but Tybe, he's gonna deny it. He's running away if he can. The fruit will keep him alive, and Kinzid says, no, the Dragon's more important. I got it back.
It doesn't matter.
It's a TP from Molly. He's got the Moonfall. He flashes out. You gotta press the ultimate. Another ultimate coming in. Oh, he doesn't get it off in time, and that's 2 more kills. The Brazilians are laughing as Liberty get the Dragon.
Oh, that could have been it. That could have been it. Kinzen chased Tybe way too far with that. He forgot that he had to secure an Elder Dragon right there. And right then and there, Molly nearly stole that Elder Dragon away. But Kona on that Veigar, that's a champion that can secure Elder Dragons as well. When you combo your abilities, you can steal it away. And as you look into this replay, Beginnings, yet again, what are you doing? You're diving way too deep. He didn't engage, but it didn't work out. And unfortunately, Molly died, as you mentioned, without even using that Moonfall. That is the most important ability that Sentinels has. And of course, when you don't use it, you lose the fight. And I find it very unfortunate because this did look like a fight that Sentinels could have won, Kangas.
If they had the right setup, it wasn't too bad, but Liberty, they found their play. Liberty have been the better team on the day, and they have the final touches right now with Elder Dragon, with Baron Pop. They just got to move forward one more time. Onto Sentinels in their own jungle, and they're slaughtering them. 1, 2, 3. There's nowhere for Sentinels to go that's safe. A double kill to Kinzen. Liberty have done it. History repeats itself. Brazil reigns supreme over North America, and Liberty will take the series.
Let's go, Liberty. This is what we want to see from the Brazil region right there. The 3rd seed showing what they're made of. Pretty much dominating Sentinels right there. Even though it was a 2-1, they clearly showed they were the better team. And I'm super excited to see how this team matches up against the Chinese teams, because we said it, like, they could beat them out. When we saw that 2nd game, that was a good game from Liberty.
They are a terrifying team, and you have to put respect on Brazil. Liberty showed up today. They lost 1 game to a kind of awkward late game call. They snuck the Baron, but the Elder Dragon was traded. Sentinels won that one. But the next 2 games, Liberty did a really good job of keeping their heads in the game. Game 2 was not close. Game 3, it was dead even. But even then, it felt like Liberty had control.
And that's the thing about Liberty that I want to see them eliminate. I don't want them to be inconsistent. You know, this is truly their only weakness, I would say. Like, they have such a big champion pool. They just showed it. They're so good. They were so good. Everything was good, but they're consistent. They make these mistakes that could lose them games, and I don't want to see them do this against the Chinese teams. They could take games from them.
They are a team that everyone needs to start putting respect on. Review these.
Oh yeah.
For everybody else, make sure that you are ready for what Liberty is packing. And I will say, I empathize with the players. You can see it on their faces. As a North American caster, I had faith that Sentinels could pull it out, but Liberty were too good. Credit to Liberty, credit to Brazil as a region. They've done it to us again, Hells.
They've done it to us again, and it has been done to us as well, unfortunately. EU and NA sitting on 3 losses right now. Rix, Game, and Sentinels. I mean, what are we going to do?
I think we caster cursed. I don't know why they put the EU and NA caster on the EU and NA game, but maybe we should change that.
Yeah.
We should change that. Or let's get, Oma and Grandit in here for the next NA game, please. But speaking of Omo, I'll say it. Yeah.
How you guys doing?
Got the predictions right. Yep.
How you feeling, Kangas?
Not great.
There's 5 casters here, but I'm the only one with a team that's won today.
I had this prepared.
Yeah.
But it's gonna wait.
Yeah.
It's gonna wait.
It's gonna wait,
Still
Kangas.
got one more chance. Still got low bracket.
It's gonna wait. You know what I was saying, Kangas? I was saying, how many times have we been bamboozled by our North American representatives who are like, all right, it's been years in the making. We're going to not make the same mistakes. Here we go. And to be fair, I don't want to take credit away from Liberty, as this was a very, very close game. But it hurts, Kangas.
It does. It does. But credit where it's due. Liberty played a better game. They were the better team. In all 3 games. Like even in case Sentinels won, it still felt like Liberty were better.
All right. Hey, Kangas, Hells Devil, thank you very much. Great cast on the day. As I will do what I did in game 1 all over again. Man, Freaks and Kona played so well. Boss did a great job. Mono Freezer all around the map, just making plays happen. I'm going to continue talking about Liberty as, yet again, they played very good.
I mean, I'm going to do what you did in game 1 as well, and I'm going to talk about Sentinels for a little bit. No, I'm not putting them down. I genuinely think this game could have gone either way. I think Sentinel pulled the trigger several times at really good timings, made good plays. It really came down to the wire. This game was neck and neck for so long as well. It's a heartbreaker, right? Like, I was rooting for Brazil to win, but still the way in which Sentinels lost this, they really could have won it. My heart goes out to the players.
I feel like any team in this series could have gone either way. To be fair, like every single game was so close. There was points in this game. I think it was still at like 15 minutes. It was still exactly the same gold, same dragons, same towers, same kills as well. So I think this series is probably, in my opinion, my best of the day. To be fair, it was it was the closest for sure, and it was definitely a good one. But I mean, take a look at the game. You know, I think that Liberty definitely adapted their play style a little bit. You know, we're used to seeing this aggressive style from Liberty, and they did at times. You know, with Kinzing on this pocket pick with the Wukong. But I feel like against the comp that Sentinels have, and especially with the Veigar as well, they played a lot more reactive.
Yes, and that's what I wanted you to dive into, Omo. The anti-dive composition that was built here by Liberty and Liberty's coaching staff.
Yeah, when we went through the draft, we kind of touched upon what both teams wanted to do, right? Sentinels had a lot of dive, they had a lot of engage, had a lot of catch. This play in particular really illustrates how difficult, though, it is to dive into what Liberty have. You think about how many disengage tools they have. You have to go through a Wukong Cyclone. You have to go through a Darius who's beefy, standing there, spinning around your melees. And that's just the tip of the iceberg, right? The real horror to dive into, Veigar Cage, Nami Tidal Wave. How do you really do that? And you see Sentinels, the only successes they really had is when they made picks. When it came down to the 5v5s around objectives, it just got too difficult.
Yeah, definitely here. And here is the Elder Dragon that wasn't meant to be. Beginnings with the engage, a little bit too far separated away from the rest of the team. No follow-up able to be had. And Molly dying without dropping the Moonfall. I think going back on this VOD, Molly was in a position to carry, was the most fed player on Sentinels, unable to make an impact when it mattered most here, Stuart.
Yeah, I think the thing is with Sentinels as well is that when Molly is dead, that's it. That's all the damage that you have. You know, the Ashe went for this Manamune Trinity Force build, trying to use the arrows, trying to use the amount of ability haste that you can get with that build. But I felt like, you know, Rest didn't really land that many arrows, Enchanted Crystal arrows this game. It was like you were trying to fetch for these picks, and Tide was always there, just like in the background, trying to find opportunities to go in. But I felt like Rest didn't maybe hit like 1 or 2 arrows this game, but there wasn't any opportunities that really Tide could go in to follow up.
Yeah, and it felt like a lot of that was shot from distance without vision. I think that's the biggest point that I wanted to take away. Sentinels felt like they were playing through a blind map, and you would kind of have the Ashe arrow shot across, but then you know, and hoping that Tide would be able to clean it up with the damage that he had, but it really wasn't meant to be as we take a look at the gold graft. A wave, as they called it there, and it was just going back and forth and back and forth until a Liberty broke the hearts and repeated history yet again of all North American fans. For those of you that woke up early back home, I feel you.
You still got one more chance though. It's fine. It's like Game Lord today.
I feel you right now though. This was the one that we wanted to win, right? This is the one, right? This is our first Western versus Western matchup in all of Icons, right? And didn't quite go out the way that Sentinels wanted to. And just one more note here on Sentinels before we turn our focus to the victors. Now they have to play Guangdong Freaks, right? Again, at the top of the day, the other great series that we had, I guess we had 3 great series, you know? Like, we had 3 great series, but Burium United taking down Guangdong Freaks of WCK. And now that's the matchup where if NA is going to get a win to kick off the play-in stage, it's going to have to be through their Stewart.
That's going to be a really tough game. I mean, saying that, though, Guangdong Freaks didn't look their best today as well. I think Burium definitely did come with an upset there. I feel like Guangdong Freaks coming into Icon were probably the favourites over Burium as well. So there might be some hope, you know, for NA inside, hopefully, but it's not going to be an easy task.
Let's look at the flip side here. They get their win, they move on, and they will be playing up against Burium United, which is going to be a great matchup.
It will be fun for sure. I think there's going to be a lot of a clash of styles going on there. We talk about how BRU play a little bit slower. But Liberty, man, they just love to fight. They love to brawl. I think that's going to be very exciting to watch. But there's one key matchup. I don't want to go too in depth, but what the Jazz going up against Mano Freezer, that's going to be fun to watch, man.
Yeah, again, how impactful were those supports? And I think the big thing that we learned about Liberty, specifically in this Game 3, is that they are able to play with restraint. They are able to play more disciplined. They stayed further away from the win condition of Sentinels, which was a hard engage, the Ash arrows that kept going wide and wide, and every time they couldn't find a pick, they would go back, reset, refresh, and clear out the wards, and then play safe yet again until they found the fight that they wanted to. So I thought that was a great job there by Liberty. They deserve the victory, and they move on as we take a look at the updated bracket here from Group D as they have finished their matches here. On the top side of the bracket, we have Burium United and Liberty. To be honest, maybe a surprise here? Yeah. Maybe a surprise again. A lot of people picking Burium United and Guangdong Freaks to move on through. But Liberty now has the opportunity to break everyone's bracket here on the bottom side. We're saying goodbye to Guangdong Freaks or Sentinels. That's crazy here when you took a look at it all.
Yeah, I think with, you know, that the upper bracket matchup, you know, Burium against Liberty is going to be a big clash of, you know, play styles. These are 2 completely different teams that have completely different play styles. You know, Liberty in the last game did play a little bit more passive, but then there's this super aggressive team. But then Burium is this very, very passive team that wants to go for late game team fights. It's going to be an interesting one. And then the bottom bracket as well, like you said, you know, Guangdong Freaks, Sentinels. I hate to say it, Digon, but I think that Guangdong Freaks will just come out on top.
I wouldn't be too down on Sentinels, though. I see them play a little bit better than what they did today, and if Guangdong Freaks continue this form, it might not be impossible. Yeah,
I think you got to look in the mid lane. Cheddar against Molly, right? Both those guys with the carry potential there. And then you take a look at the Dragon Lane role where it's like, oh, we want a little more from Acolyte. You want a little more there from Rest. We'll get to see if they're able to do that here. Again, what a great, great day to cover here in day number 2. Now we've seen all the teams playing in play-ins. I want to get your quick thoughts after 2 days of work here, Stuart.
For me, I think, you know, China coming out on top, I think, is the #1 region. Even though they did drop a game today, I know they did drop a game. I still think that China is still the best region coming into it. But I think over this past 2 days, it's just so. I think the meta has been very fun as well because coming into Icons, it was a whole new patch. There was a whole new meta coming in. It's interesting to see the different playstyles as well from every single region.
Boys. Let me just say really quickly here. I have to cut right in here. Let me have this just for today.
Okay, you have the spotlight.
The WRL is 6-1, but the WCS is 6-0, baby. Let's go. We are undefeated right now. Best region in the world, at least for today.
All right. Well, go ahead, enjoy it.
I will.
Soak it on in.
Why?
Me and D gonna be crying later.
All right, Joe. Hey,
happy man in the middle.
We've got Mika standing by with Sentinels beginnings for the Verizon post-game interview. Mika, take it away.
Thanks so much, Digon. And I know you're excited for this final interview that we have because I have your boy Beginnings over here from Sentinels joining us for a quick interview. Now, Beginnings, of course, you should have seen Digon, by the way, during game 1. He lost it. I'm sure there are going to be videos out there, with him, completely just, losing it backstage. But let us know how you guys were able to pull that game back from your opponents.
So game 1, we weren't really ever in a place where we were stressing. We understood that they had a stronger early game comp, and they were just exerting the pressure that they would exert normally. And we knew that as long as we kept farming, scaling, that we could out-macro them and out-teamfight them, and it just worked out.
And of course, you guys were unfortunately unable to close out the series, but what were the big learnings that you got from games 2 and 3?
Really, games 2 and 3. Game 2 was mostly just about forcing at the wrong time. Game 3, I really just did actually. Game 3, I really should have just been playing the team fights slower, like specifically the last fight around shoulder. I went on the Wukong when I should have, and the fights was a little rough from there, actually. But yeah, we just learned that as long as we play smart and clean, we'll win. And obviously that didn't happen today.
Well, you guys will get another chance, of course, but you are no stranger to, big tournaments under this setting. But what has surprised you the most about Wild Rift Icons so far?
I think what surprised me the most is actually how close the teams are. Obviously, the Latin American team took a game off of Nova, which was huge to see. And with the way that scrims have been going, the regions are a lot closer, I think, than most people assumed going into it, and it's really cool to see.
Ooh, that is an interesting little teaser. Might need to press you a little bit more about that later on, but for the meantime, I think Digon needs to fanboy about you guys just a little bit more, copium over there. So back to you guys over on the analyst desk.
It's tough too, right? Because I love RRQ being Filipino American, so I'm not going to dig Mika at her fandom as well, but come on, girl. Come on. I'm processing my feelings now, all right? You don't have to continue to jab me. Beg knows I love him and the rest of everyone over at Sentinels, and I appreciate the fact that he's taking responsibility and hey, some of the moments where we could get better. It's not blame. It's, hey, this is just objectively how we win this one.
He understands his mistakes. I think the team understands their mistakes as well. If they can go back, if they can learn, they review as well. And then going into that lower bracket game against Quantum Freaks, they can, learn from their mistakes, learn from their over-aggression and maybe the oversteps the beginning was talking about, and maybe they can come out on top.
Sure. The takeaways were good, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was Group D. Let's take a look at Group A, which is something that Beg referenced. The fact that Furious Gaming, although they lost, took a game off of Nova and saying, wow, anyone can beat anyone. The gap is not that big between the teams. And so referencing that game, pretty interesting as we take a look at this bracket. Flash Wolves and Nova, the expected matchup that we had here. The way they got there, a little different, but expected. And then on the bottom side of the map, Game Lords against Furious Gaming.
Stu, what are you feeling a bit nervous about that one?
I am, I'll be totally honest with you. I mean, especially after watching Furious, Furious definitely came up completely huge. I think the big surprise factor really from the entire day for day 2. If you're a Game Lord, you have to look at them Furious Gaming games. You have to think to yourself, how are we going to come out on top? Because Game Lord, obviously, with their roster changing as well, they've been in it's pretty difficult for them to try and adjust so quickly coming into Icons. But I believe in Europe. It might be very, very slim, but I believe. And
I feel like if I just pushed you a little bit, you might change your mind. You went, I believe.
It's very hard right now to believe. I'll be totally honest, as an EU fan, with Rix losing, with Game Lord lose as well, both of them in the lower bracket. But that's the great thing about, the format is that you still have one more chance to try and get into groups.
That's right. Again, Van Jackson, support your man Redemption Game Lord if you're going to try to find that win. All right, y'all. Our coverage continues tomorrow with the winners bracket. That means a bunch of teams are going to face their first loss. So here's the schedule. Leading off the day, it's Nova versus Flash Wolves. Then it's JDG versus RRQ. J-Team versus T1. And then Burium versus Liberty. Again, this is going to be a big day for some of these winner bracket teams.
It is. It's going to be very exciting. I think the first 2 matches especially, I'm looking forward to that one. Can't wait to see how it all plays out.
Stuart?
3 Chinese teams, I think 2 or 3 SEA teams as well. So, you
Three.
know, yeah,
Three, count
SEA,
them.
yeah, 3 SEA teams, 3 Chinese teams as well. Looking really strong, looking really, really good.
We're just saving the best for last, Stuart. We're
Exactly.
waiting
The
for
best
the
for
West
the loser
teams. All
Stick it
right.
out, baby.
The reverse sweep, don't worry. We'll go for the losers bracket, but then we'll make the speed run into groups.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. Hey, everyone. It has been a long, great day of Wild Rift here at Icons 2022, day number 2. We wanted to thank you on behalf of myself, the casters, Mika, and the entire live broadcast crew, bringing you the action. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back tomorrow for more Icons 2022 action. See ya.
Dragon Freaks is in as well! It's secured from...
Way too hot. Just can't stop. Way too hot. Come through like boom pow. All I ever hear is ooh wow. Turn your neighborhood into a boom town. Next stop headed to the moon now. Ooh wow. Got wins by the boatload, way too hot. I need a couple more cause I just can't stop. Put the ball in my hands, watch I'ma make it pop. Guaranteed every time I hear the beat drop like way too hot. Just can't stop. 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 Yeah. Bang. Boom. Let me know. Who you rockin' with? Who you rockin' with? Who you rockin' with? Rockin' with the best, yes, better than the rest. This is level up cause I'm way too fresh. All I do is win, so I tend to say less. Except when I come through the flex. Rockin' with the best, yes, better than the rest. This is level up cause I'm way too fresh. All I do is